All right, everybody, here we go. Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, June 3rd, 2026. My name is Rob Carter. Welcome to the future. #1 radio / broadcast. No, / podcast, whatever it is. What's going on, Isaiah?
Good morning. Good morning, America.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel a little bit better today. I was irritated yesterday, and I think we got that resolved. Wait, it all broke yesterday, too. You know, we had the St. Charles County executive meeting with Elman, Eigel, and Jason Law. So we'll talk about that just a little bit. And then you had the dust up in Franklin County, where the commissioner would not allow the people to speak out against the AI data centers. And then you had Elliot Davis, so I think is one of the best reporters in Missouri, if not the very best. He's retired now doing his own thing, but Elliot Davis just knocking it out of the park with his interview with Dave Schatz, presiding commissioner of Franklin County yesterday. We'll get to those stories, but don't forget, as we let people start to come into the show, like and share, please. As always, like and share, pretty please, with sugar on top. Like and share. It's the only way to beat the algorithm. I was looking at it yesterday. Isaiah, did you see the video that I sent you?
I know.
Can you show that?
I saw that it kept happening.
This happens to me all the time.
I meant to tell you to uninstall your Facebook app and reinstall.
This goes back for 7 years. I've had 3 phones since then. You see what I'm saying? This is not
that video you're saying.
Yes, I've never had anybody happen.
Videos from
only
7 years
happens
ago?
to me. Yeah, it happens.
That's from 7 years ago.
No. This has been happening to me for 7 years.
Okay.
I can tell you story after story after story. I just decided, because people don't believe me, to start videotaping it. So the last 2 nights it's happened, and I videotaped it. But you can see it right there. I can't explain it. Can you explain how you can have -4 likes?
It's probably the only thing would be a platform glitch, and whether it's
why does that happen to anybody else?
Accidental or whether it's on purpose. I'm not sure. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to tell you, that's what my buddy told me. We talked about it yesterday. My buddy Max. Do you have that video? Is there anything on there that people shouldn't see? I would love to just show people what happens to me. I don't think people really believe it.
I don't have it downloaded right now. Let me see here.
What if you can show it? So what happens is when I hit a like, if I'm sharing something and you hit a like on it, my likes will fluctuate. They'll go from say it's number 6. I think this one was number 6. It fluctuates down to -4, then it goes up to 20, then it goes down to 10, then it goes down to 4, then it goes to 5, 6. It just fluctuates all the time. You have no idea whether the number is real or not. And you can see it right on the screen. And people don't believe that that's happening. And my buddy Tom, I told you, when I was typing out Trump back in 2016, on my phone, it would, every time I wrote the word Trump, I'd write a capital T, lowercase RUMP. It would capitalize it and then double space it. And when it would show up on the other person's phone, it wouldn't look like that. It would look like just on my phone, but on the other person's phone, it would look the way I typed it. I mean, come on. There's something going on. What it tells me is that somebody or something or some algorithm can play with your phone, and what is being typed, what you're seeing on your phone can be manipulated. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Because if it's happening to me, I don't know how Rob Carter's likes would glitch on Facebook, right? Wouldn't it glitch on everybody's, Isaiah?
No, not necessarily.
It's the 3rd phone.
Yeah, not necessarily.
All right.
I've never met anybody. I've told people 1,000 times. Okay, look right here on the phone. Check this out.
All right, watch this. Let me do it again. -4 now.
The -4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, the -4 was my favorite. I was like, minus what?
That happens to me all the time. It happens to me when I'm texting. It happens to me when I'm on social media. It happens to me all the time. And I ask people, has this happened to you? Is this, because I thought it might be just a glitch too. You know, I don't want to be too conspiratorial, but I said, is this a glitch? This happened all the way back in 2016. So we're talking 10 years ago. So it has happened to me routinely through multiple different phones for 10 years. And I can't find anybody else that's happened to. Because this is the phone I had in 2016. I think I've had maybe 3 or 4 phones since then. And it continues to happen.
Thank you, Donna. Had a great birthday this past weekend. Great birthday. Really, I just celebrated my daughter's birthday. That's really what I did.
You got to tell me, though, Isaiah. You got to tell me what this is, because you're the tech guy. I don't know how that can be, because it doesn't do it unless I'm talking politics. If I'm sending a picture out, it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
If I'm talking politics, it does it.
So it's the reason I'm inclined to think it's a platform glitch is because it's when it doesn't matter if you're liking your video, if you're liking People's Lobby, if you're liking something else. It's
only politics,
like
though.
It's not like it's a specific post that it's happening on. It's happening again and again for you. And so that's just knowing how technology works, just as being an expert in that, that would lead me to believe that you might need to uninstall the app and reinstall it. Those are the trouble. That's what I would take someone through if I was troubleshooting, to try to identify if there is an issue, right? I'm not saying
you believe that there's algorithms.
Not saying that there is an issue. I'm just saying if there is, that's what I would do, is I would go through all those troubleshooting steps. And then if it's still persisting, then it'd be like, okay, what's going on?
We know there's algorithms in social media, right?
Absolutely.
So why would we think there's not algorithms in the way you perceive likes, dislikes, and everything else? Why would we think that they were not doing that?
Oh no!
If they're going to restrict free speech, limit your reach, censor you, deplatform you, if they're going to do those things, what would make us think that they're not messing with likes and so forth and so on? Because a lot of people deal with advertisements like that, right? So 100%. If my likes say 10 and it's really 10,000. Yes, then 100%. I can't sell advertisers that I'm getting 10 likes. You know, there's 10,000. So now you're affecting my ability to sell a message, right? I don't know. It just keeps happening to me. That's why I bring it. I don't.
That's what I would go through before I would jump to those conclusions. Personally, is I would troubleshoot the application. I would troubleshoot the phone. I would troubleshoot those things, because what's happening there is not outside of the realm of being a technical glitch. That's my point. Is that it could be a technical glitch also. And so it could be that they're messing with you, but that's what I'm saying, is that the things there that are happening, just knowing technology, also leads me to believe that it also could be just a technical glitch. And so, yeah, that's why I said, is like, I don't want to jump to those conclusions. I'm not saying that it isn't, but I just know technology and how it works.
I think the reason it hits me is because of my buddy that told me that the
100. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're coming in with a preconceived notion.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I bring it up. My buddy told me that your likes will be manipulated if you are on the wrong side of the politics of the platform that you're on.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. It's like, I do believe that. I'm not saying that it can't happen.
Well, even look at
I just know how technology works, and that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look at Elon Musk, who said freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. That means there is something that they will block the algorithms on, right? So if I'm talking about elections, or I'm talking about Israel, or what we're going to talk about at the beginning of the show, the puppet game.
Yes.
I just think that there has to be algorithms that suppress information.
There's bots. There's AI bots scanning everything and saying, okay, did he say Israel?
Right. Or is it's just we limit him, period, because he's.
Yes. Well, if it's the repeated, and it's like, oh, hey,
this guy's a bad guy. We got to get him. We got to watch him just a little bit. Won't work. We'll get it done. Like and share, please, please, please. Like and share. Okay. On the show today, we'll have Dana Bowers, because the Franklin County presiding commissioner, Dave Schatz, who Andy was all over yesterday. If you got to see the Andy Pichek segment. He was on for almost an hour yesterday, by the way. He got great feedback, Andy Pichek did. But we'll have Dana Bowers on. She was going after the Franklin County Commission because she does not want AI data centers in her backyard in Franklin County. So she got after him. We played the clip on the show. We had her on the program. And then the follow-up meeting to that, they would not let anybody speak. You had to give written testimony, but you cannot speak. That caused a big stir. The election director out there, Tim Baker, got up and spoke on behalf of the people and said, this is appalling. We'll have Tim Baker on the show. So we'll talk a little Franklin County politics today. Dana Bowers with Pacific Root Coalition. She's on at 10:30. Tim Baker, the election director out in Franklin County. County clerk. That's basically the same thing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
He's on at 11. I want to start the show. First of all, I got to get PLMO out of the way. So again, if you are listening from Missouri or around the country, we ask that you take a look at peopleslobbymo.com. Peopleslobbymo.com is the primary sponsor of the show. And, it's basically just a voice for the people. You're not going to be able to beat the lobbyists. Your life is going to get more and more difficult. You're going to pay more taxes. You're going to have less freedom. You're going to have less security unless you have your voices heard. And right now, I don't see a lot of people really working on behalf of the people. There's a lot of grassroots organizations that I believe are aligned with the political parties. There's only a handful of us who say we don't really care what's Democrat or Republican. We just look at, are you following the Constitution or not? Are you doing your job? That's what we do. We pressure the government to have a conversation with us, and then we market We're going to use a marketing campaign to make sure that they feel the pressure from citizens. And the only way to buy the marketing ad space, the only way to buy the billboards, the only way to do it is through donation. We can't afford it on our own. So I asked, please, if you don't mind, pretty please with sugar on top, if you are interested in what we're doing, if you're a daily listener, please donate to People's Lobby Mo. If you can't afford the money, or it's even uncomfortable to put out the money, don't do it. We don't want you to get into a situation. But if you can afford $5 or $10 a month, that's what we look for. Small donations. peopleslobbymo.com. For a cup of coffee, we had 10,000 people that subscribe, which is ultimately what we want to have happen. 10,000 people at $5 a month. All of a sudden, we can do all of the marketing that we want to do, and some of your dreams will come true. You're going to have a society that you can be proud of again. Until then, you're going to be run by these fraudulent organizations, the big donor money, the lobby money. That's just a fact, Jack.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
All right, can we talk about the show?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about
The show.
Let's talk about the political show.
The big show.
Did you get a chance to see? Amy sent us something last night that I thought was really good. Amy Castro from Act 4 Mo. She'll be on tomorrow at 10:30 with Michael Compton. She sent us a long video.
The Cardinals game last night.
That was a bummer game.
I know, bummer game.
They're starting to fall a little bit. They
home runs, but still couldn't.
Yeah, they're starting to slide. Much better than I thought they were going to be, but they're starting to slide. She sent this video, and it's a conversation. I don't know these guys. I sent it off to a couple of people last night, and they said they were familiar with them. But just an absolutely terrific conversation about how the world actually works. And he basically said there are governments on top of the governments that we see. Very intellectual conversation. It wasn't, a bunch of conspiracy theorists with their tinfoil hats sitting around. But they basically said there's three organizations: the military industrial complex, right? MIC, the technological industrial complex.
Oh, I haven't heard that before. That's a good one.
You haven't seen it? And then the financial.
Yeah.
Right. And he basically says that it's all just a show. The politicians are puppets. He even says there about one time he's talking about Donald Trump. And what I loved about it, Isaiah, is I think these people are in the game for a long time. They've worked in it. It's everything that I've been saying on my show for years. And mine was through complete observation, just observation. This guy was an investment banker, and he said, look, I was in that world. I know how they control the situation. I know what goes down. And it's everything through observation, that if you just don't allow your mind to be hijacked by propaganda and you see things for what they are, not what somebody tells you they are, you'll come to the same conclusion. You'll come to the conclusion that what you see in Washington, D.C. is nothing more than political theater. And that's what Thomas Massey said. It was political theater. This guy goes on to say that your ability to vote your way out of this is just kind of silly and ridiculous. And couldn't agree more. I say the same thing. When it comes to federal politics, it is organized in advance. And you know that many different ways. The primary way that you can know it is they don't read the bills. So if somebody is signing their name or putting a vote to something they haven't read, and it's being written by Harvard, it's being written by AIPAC, it's being written by these organizations because they want the bills structured legally to benefit themselves. And then these people in Congress and the Senate in Washington, D.C. go vote for it. Pretty obvious what's going on. But, people, it's conditioning. It really is. I think I was in it. Isaiah, you probably were in it at some point. I think a lot of just good-hearted people are so conditioned to believe that we are in a free society where we have elected representatives off in DC that are going to do things for us that are going to fundamentally change the direction of this country. And I would just submit to you that is a fool's errand, and it's just simply not true. And I want to show you one example of how the game is played. Can I show this to you, Isaiah? Let's do it. If I have one expertise in the world, it's propaganda and marketing and sales. That's the game. It's the only thing that I've been trained in my whole life. It's the only thing that I understand from scoop to nuts. I understand the techniques, all of them. Every technique that you can think of, I'm aware of them. Do I recognize them when they're happening in real time? Not necessarily, but when it comes to politics, I recognize them right away. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. Let's start with clip number or number 5. It's not even a clip. Let's just run this. This is Mark Levin. Okay. This is number 5. And this is kind of a little teaching moment, if it's okay. I hate to be preachy, but we got to just teach a little bit so people can understand what they're looking at. And maybe share it with friends, family.
We're going to learn from Mark Levin.
We're going to learn from Mark Levin. Okay. Now, the story out there was that Donald Trump had a shouting match with Bibi Netanyahu. You aware of this, Isaiah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is what it says. Mark, this is from Mario Nafal. Can you read that? Because you read it
Yeah.
reading to me.
Mark Levin seemingly confirms the Axios bombshell by attacking the leak instead of denying it. Axios reported Trump exploded at Netanyahu in an expletive-laden call over Lebanon, telling him, "You're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this." Levine, a close ally of both men, responded not by calling it false, but by demanding an FBI investigation into who leaked it. Quote, "The Iranian regime will benefit from that leak, viewing us as weak and desperate for a deal," end quote. When your defense is this private call should never have leaked instead of this call never happened, you've confirmed the call has happened. Levine all but verified the most explosive account of the Trump-Netanyahu relationship to ever go public. This is the Netanyahu test resolving in real time. For 95 days, the question was whether Trump controls Netanyahu or the other way around. The answer, according to U.S. officials briefed on the call, Trump, quote, steamrolled, end quote, him. But the line that will echo is, quote, "You'd be in prison if it weren't for me," end quote. After months of everyone assuming Netanyahu was driving American policy, Trump just demonstrated in the harshest terms possible that he believes the opposite. And there's the post from
Is there two pieces of that? Are there two pieces, or did you get them both? Is that Mark Levin? Can we? So did he read Mark Levin, or is that just a?
No, that was the Mario post, and then this is a picture in his post that you sent me.
All right, I just want to remind you what this is. It is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, a made-up narrative. Somebody wrote the script for Bibi Netanyahu, Mark Levin, and Donald Trump. And why would they write the script this way, Isaiah? They write the script this way because Donald Trump and his administration and the world is starting to recognize an alliance between the United States and Israel that seems unbalanced. It certainly seems that Bibi Netanyahu and the Israeli government has control and power over the political process in this country. I don't think anybody with a right-thinking brain would disagree with that based on what happened to Thomas Massey just recently. So you look at that and you say, okay, Rob, what are you talking about? What do you mean this is theater? This is a coordinated effort to make Donald Trump look like he runs the show. And I'm not saying that Bibi Netanyahu runs the show. I don't think that either one of them run the show. I think they are puppets. I would go so far as to say I know that they're puppets, but I don't want to sound, egotistical. But this is a puppet show. When Donald Trump started to recognize, and the people surrounding Donald Trump started to recognize that confidence was being lost, and the appearance was that Donald Trump did not have control of the administration, or did really not have control of our own government, that he was not calling the shots, that Bibi Netanyahu was calling the shots. Then comes out the story that Donald Trump has a shouting match with Bibi Netanyahu. And then that is leaked, and then it goes out to the public. Mark Levin has to respond to it, and it is nothing more, in my opinion, than it's just ridiculously third-grade theater, because you have to look at the timing of it all. He wasn't upset when he led us to war in Iran. He wasn't upset that we've been stuck in Iran when the war's been over 17 times. Is it 17 times? I think it's 17 times, Isaiah. The war's been over.
Right? Lost count.
Right, we had the straight closed, then it was open, then it was closed, open, closed, open, closed.
Rubio yesterday said we solved the war, I guess, I can't remember if it was last night or this morning because I went to bed so late, but Trump said that Iran has no nuclear weapons, and then I think we bombed them after that or something.
We obliterated their nuclear. Now the whole thing is just so convoluted and ridiculous. And the guy that I'm talking about, I want to play a little bit of that. It's 12. We'll play it in just a minute. I don't know if you need to download it, Isaiah, because it's like 2 hours long. But if we can just play the first couple minutes,
I didn't download it because it's too long to download. But the YouTube
can you
video,
just play it live? Can we play just a little bit of it live? Because I do want people to hear it. Because I think it's so fantastic. It's one of the Amy sent it to me. And she goes, if you watch the first few minutes of it, you won't be able to put it down. And I ended up listening to it before I went to bed last night, and I absolutely loved it because it's just dead on the money. As far as I'm concerned, it's just exactly the way the world works. And I thought it was fantastic. Donald Trump and the administration, or whoever's calling the shots, wanted that information out there to reassure the Donald Trump supporters that he is in complete control of everything that's happening in the United States government. And if you want to believe that, fine. It doesn't make any sense to me. If he is, he's the first one in my lifetime that's had control over the government. He says in the video, the one we're talking about, Isaiah, the one that I said I liked, he says that somebody asked, why did Donald Trump do this? And he goes, well, Donald Trump didn't do that. Donald Trump's job is to sell what the governments are doing, the military industrial complex, the technology industrial complex, and the financial industrial complex. He goes, those are the three operations that rule the world. And they're basically just corporate power, money. It's just a combination of corporate forces that really make the determinations of how we're going to divvy up resources, where they're going to go in, where they need resources, where they need whatever they need. Right. He goes, they make the decisions. He goes, and then the salesmen are the politicians. They have to come up with a plausible reason for you to accept what is happening. Right. So when COVID happens, right, we have to go on through this, all these theatrics, and, you got to put mask on your face, dots on the floor, helmets, flippers, bubble wrap, the whole thing, because they have to sell the story. They have to sell the story. What's that say, Rob? You automatically get -5 likes because you are from North County. You might be right on to something, Keith.
Hashtag Spanish Lake.
Spanish. Wonder if somebody knows me. Oh, he's from Spanish Lake. I used to date a girl in Spanish Lake when I was like 18, 19 years old. Anyway.
Got to bring this out because we talked about COVID.
Yes, there it is. But that is what's happening. And you'll see these stories. And the reason I'm aware of it is because it happens all the time. Happens all the time. This crazy love of mine. You don't know that song either, do you, Isaiah?
Time after time. No.
There you go. That's Cyndi Lauper. It's not just like her. Just like a young Cyndi Lauper. Okay, so that's the show that I wanted to bring to your attention, because it is nothing more than a show. If you start to see it that way, you'll start to recognize when all of these things come up. Whenever there's a little bit of confidence lost in Donald Trump, a story breaks to bring back the confidence of the Donald Trump loyalist. And again, it's not a hit piece on Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is just like all of the other politicians. They have to do what they have to do because they really don't have as much control as you would think. Right? It just makes sense that you do not have as much control as you think when you have a CIA, you have 17 intelligence agencies, you have all this stuff going around the world. He has to listen to the people that are talking to him. What else can you do? And if somebody says, you know what, if you keep messing with us, we're not going to deliver oil to you. What are you going to do, Isaiah? Right? It's just kind of is the way it is. I want to get to this too, because I want to get your opinion on this one. This is number 4, and I'm going to need you to read this to me. So this is Buckley Carlson. This is Tucker Carlson's brother. Okay. It's number 4, if you want to bring that up. Yeah. Now, he continues to say that Donald Trump and his administration are grifting off the American people, that they are making big money off the American people by manipulating the stock market, getting in on early investment, and then the government backs it, and then the stock prices go through the roof, and then they make all kinds of money. And he basically said it's being driven by greed within the Trump administration, grifting by the Trump administration, manipulation by the Trump administration. Let's see what he has to write on there real quick. This is Buckley Carlson, again, Tucker Carlson's brother. What is FAGA? FAGA.
Fag. I think he's That's joking.
Joke?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a joke, like MAGA, but faggot.
All right. Read that real fast.
Does FAGA support this? And when is the Mayor Day going to
end? By FAGA, you mean FAGA, like MAGA. So we got to make sure people are just listening and not seeing it. Does FAGA, FAGA. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe there should be a moratorium on Trump family graft, at least until the Strait of Hormuz is open permanently.
He's reacting to a conversation by a guy named Mike Levin. And what does Mike Levin write there? And can we verify that? Let's see if we can verify this information.
It says, follow the money on this one. It is rotten to the core. The Pentagon just lent $620 million to a tiny North Carolina startup called Vulcan Elements. The company is 2 years old. It had fewer than 50 employees. And 3 months before the deal was announced, Donald Trump Jr.'s venture firm quietly took a stake in it. Here's the part the administration tried to bury. Of the dozens of companies the Pentagon was weighing, Vulcan was the only deal initiated by a top White House aide. That aide was Peter Navarro, a close friend of Trump Jr. The order came down to move fast. One official put it plainly, the call came from the White House. We have to get this done. Staff worked late nights to push it through in weeks. Deals like this normally take months of vetting, and when it closed, Vulcan's valuation jumped from about $200 million to roughly $2 billion, a windfall for the investors, including the president's son. This is public money, your money. routed through the Pentagon to enrich the president's family and their friends. The Bush administration's own chief ethics lawyer called it corruption we pay for, and there's more coming. A drone parts company Trump Jr. holds a stake in is also under Pentagon review. This is not a one-off, it is a pattern. The president's family is treating the federal treasury like a private bank, and the bill lands on every taxpayer. There we go.
Okay, so the guy, there it is right there. So the guy that I was listening to last night, just a great conversation. We'll play just a little bit of it here in a minute. He said that Trump is, he represents the financial industrial complex and the technology industrial complex. He said those are the two that he works for. And they said, well, why is he involved over in Israel? And he said, because Israel is the military industrial complex. He said they test military equipment in Israel. So the United States and the major players, they test military equipment in Israel. He said that's where Palantir was doing facial recognition. That was the genocide of Gaza. He said they were testing military equipment, military surveillance. He said because they were intending to bring all of that to the Western world, and they were experimenting with it, testing it, beta testing it in Israel. And that makes perfect sense, right? Because that's where Palantir, their contracts are, well, Carp and Teal, that's where their contracts were originally with Israel, and they were using their technology to use facial recognition and all kinds of different technologies, I guess, to bomb and destroy the people in Gaza. Very interesting. Can we play just a little bit of it? Yeah. So this is, I love this
part here that says it's the most replayed part at the pretty early on at minute like 11. Is that around the time you were thinking?
You can play it. Just start it from the beginning and then jump to 11 if you don't mind.
That's good. Yeah.
Really good though. We got to figure out how to pin this so people can see it. There you go. Oh, we're not hearing it. Seeing it, but not hearing it, Isaiah.
I can hear it.
I can't hear it on mine at all. Can the audience hear it? I don't think anybody can hear it, Isaiah.
Let me see here.
I don't think anybody can hear it, Isaiah.
Let me see here. Let's see.
Yeah, they can't hear it. Nobody can hear it.
Yep.
It's really, really good. We got to figure out a way to pin this, Isaiah, so that everybody can see it. I would really like everybody that listens on a daily basis to check it out, because I think it will.
Yeah. You can share it on X, probably would be the easiest. Or
yeah, I'll share it on X. It lends credibility to what we've been talking about, because it basically reiterates everything that I've been trying to explain to people. It's just hard to grasp.
Power structures that actually make
there we
it
go
round.
Yeah, we can hear it now. Let's start it from the beginning and check, and then jump it.
Perfect.
I think there's a small group of power structures that sit above countries that are running the show. There's no political solution in the West. There's no democracy. It's all a lie. The government is a distraction. The left versus the right is a complete distraction. You need a theatrical moment to define the end of empire and the transition to the New World Order. So there is a way of breaking the system if we wanted, but they don't want you to know that.
What's the way?
That's just the real. I mean, it's not.
You have a very atypical way of viewing the power structures that actually make the world go round. And so I actually want to start there. Is it fair to say that there is a small group of people that sit above countries that are actually running the show?
I think there's a small group of power structures that sit above countries that are running the show.
What is a power structure?
I like to call them complexes. I think the world really understood the military-industrial complex as a group of companies and countries that have corporate interests that profit from war and that sell weapons. And so whether that be America, UK, France, Germany, Israel, that had a group of companies from Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Raytheon, Boeing, BAE Systems. It is a group of companies that have a well-oiled machine that requires a continual source of revenue that is derived from more profitable is war, and less profitable is defense contracts. And their revenue has to continue. And structurally, they have fiduciary duties to shareholders, and they have to report quarterly earnings. And you can see in those quarterly earnings where most of their revenue comes from. And it gives you clues as to where the next war zone will be. And so I use just reading those balance sheets and where the contracts are to determine where the next war zones will be, because they prepare. And so you can see narrative ratchets up in politics, but before that, contracts and revenue move.
Bingo.
And so the military industrial complex is an important part of it.
What he's trying to explain is the predictive power of what's going on. You'll see the contracts and the money start to move, and then you'll see the politics come behind it. So you'll see the money behind the scenes with the military contractors, the financial movement, this and that and the other. You'll see that happen first. And then you'll see the political movement, the politicians, the corporate media. You'll see them start to sell where the money was already going, so they can push that narrative. And I think that is exactly right. And again, it just takes observation. You got to be dedicated to it. It's like anything else. The more time you spend evaluating these things, the more clear it becomes. But if you say on the 11-minute mark, somebody said that's the most listened to part of that show, Isaiah, you want to fast forward it to 11 minutes? Because I don't know what it is. I listened to the whole thing, though. I thought it was really, really good. Really good. Really, really, really. There's 5 reallys good. Really, 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 really good. Yeah, 5 reallys. There we go.
Gold, more recently Bitcoin. And so they are just using a fiat currency system in order to acquire assets.
Boom.
And then eventually, in a cyclical nature, the slow destruction of purchasing power of that fiat currency hits the point where it gets to an end of a cycle, and therefore they throw the monopoly board, reset the board, and start again. And that's where I think we are right now. That's a typical, it can take a decade or two in order to manage such a transition. But I think we're there right now.
Can you pause it real fast?
Back with the show, but first, let's talk about how exposed you really are.
Actually, that's good. That's good enough. So when he's talking about the fiat currency and the ability to buy assets, if you remember Donald Trump when he was running for office, and he kept saying, "I love debt. I love debt. I love debt." Remember, he wrote the book. He has that book. Who's that guy? I can't think of his name. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Richard.
No. I want to say it's.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh my gosh, it's at the tip of my tongue. It's an Asian guy. It's an Asian guy.
Yeah, it's an Asian guy.
I could see it in my head.
And he said the Rich Dad.
Oh man,
I got it right here.
Yeah,
it was written by Kiyosaki, Robert T. Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
So when he writes that, what he's trying to explain, and I had the conversation with my wife last night, as a matter of fact. Isn't that interesting? We were just talking about this last night. So my wife is a make money, save it. Not the way you were raised, Isaiah. Most people think make as much money as you can, and then put it somewhere and save it, and keep that money secure. Keep saving money. Take 20% of your income, put it away in the bank, and save money, save money, save money. Well, if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they have a little different spin on the way to get wealthy. They say that you have to have good credit, because what you want to do is borrow, because when you're borrowing money right now, what are you getting? You're getting a paper currency or a digital currency in return. You're going to borrow money from a bank, or you're going to borrow money off of your credit card, and you're going to get nothing really in return other than the illusion that you're getting something, which is just a fiat currency, a paper currency, and or just something digital that goes from bank to bank to bank. You don't get anything tangible from it. They say take those intangibles, or those non-tangibles, I guess I should say, currency and credit, and buy assets. Use somebody else's money to buy something tangible. So for example, if I go out and I say, you know what, I'm going to, because money is going to devalue. There's never a time when money becomes worth more. It always becomes worth less and less and less. And my wife said, she goes, I went to buy a candy bar the other day. She goes, it was over $3 for a candy bar. I said, when I was a kid, I used to run up to the store and candy bars were 30 cents.
Yep.
Right? So it's 10 times the cost. In 40 years, it's 10 times the cost of what it used to cost me to go get a candy bar. Right? So money is always worth less as time goes on. It always becomes worth less. But if I were to borrow $10,000 and go buy a piece of art, go buy a little plot of land,
Mhm.
go buy gold, go buy anything that has hard value, right? That goes up. So what you want to do is borrow money, according to Trump. I'm not a financial person, but borrow money to buy assets. Borrow money to buy assets. Borrow money to buy assets, and you want to buy assets that grow faster than the loss of the money. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, that's what Grant Cardone kind of
Does he
preaches.
say the same thing?
Yeah, he preaches that you want with real estate specifically, because real estate is the hottest kind of asset to buy
Right.
and
And there's
improve.
and what is Trump in? He's in the
Real
real estate.
estate.
He's in the real
Exactly.
estate business.
Yeah.
So he's borrowing money to buy real estate. As there's less and less real estate to buy, it becomes worth more. And then all of a sudden he makes out like a
And
bandit.
it's really interesting what you can do when you borrow money too, because someone who you can get like a different loan for a plot of land where you could build 4 houses, right? And then you could Airbnb them, and you can get construction loans, and you get all these different types of things to kind of work to your advantage, is what people say, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big person. I don't like getting in debt. I don't have a lot of debt. I think my only debt is my house.
Right.
And so I'm just big on not being in debt, buying cars cash. We have no credit cards.
See, that's what the guy said. That's what he said. He said, rich dad, poor dad. And he called him his poor dad, but I don't think he meant he was poor.
No.
In the sense that he can't eat, just sense that he was not going to be a multimillionaire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So his point was that his dad, I think it was his real father versus his stepfather who had millions. His real father was just like me and you. I'm kind of the same way too. I don't like to be in debt. I like to have my bills paid off. That's the way I like to roll with life.
Yeah. Dave Ramsey, he lived the Trump life and then lost it all because of the markets and everything. And so that's why he preaches the way he does.
See, but if it was in markets, he wouldn't be buying assets, right? Or did he lose? Because what I mean?
It was something I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was he was already in real estate and things like that. Something happened and maybe the housing crisis. That might have been what it was. If now that I'm thinking about it. And so he was already a multimillionaire and experienced this crisis and then lost it all because he was getting in debt, borrowing to buy. And then I think he went bankrupt, if I remember correctly.
I think what in this show that I'm telling people to check out, I think what he's trying to say is the people that own the financial industrial complex, they use fiat currency to go buy hard assets around the world.
Yeah. Because
they're printing money. And that's been my argument all the way back when I started talking about the Fed. You haven't done a show on the Fed. I should do a show on the Fed here before too terribly long.
Yes.
One of our listeners, Jay Brown, says you got to talk about the manipulation of the markets and how that all works too. We'll get to it. I promise. We'll get the MMTLP conversation heated up again before too terribly long.
Yeah. I did want to tell people where they could find that video too. I meant to tell people about because I know you wanted people to know where they could find it. And so here, I'll share this so people can see the names.
I think if you watch that and you have an open mind, I think it'll open a lot of doors to what the world is really like.
So this is the name of the video. They're deliberately winding down America. Here's the plan for what comes next. Simon Dixon.
Yeah, Simon Dixon. I guess a lot of people know who Simon Dixon is.
Dixon and Tom Ballou.
Yeah, I've heard the names before, but I've never watched the full show. I just thought it was really insightful. And again, sometimes you like things that you agree with, right, Isaiah? So I agree that that's how it works. He said very nonchalantly that, Donald Trump, we're talking about starting the war with Iran. He goes, Donald Trump just has to sell the war with Iran. He goes, that's why all of the information that comes out is so inconsistent, is what he put.
Yeah.
They don't have the power that you think they do. The war starts, and then the job of the president is to sell you on why they did the war. When the pallets of money show up in Iran, then then they have to come up with a reason why the money is there. When the borders are wide open, because whoever wants the borders wide open for whatever reason, the borders are wide open, then they have to explain to you why the borders are wide open. If you don't like the borders being wide open, obviously, Isaiah, you're a racist, right? Yeah. So this is the games people play.
Actually talking with Grok last night, because I was just wondering, I was like, hey, what are the implications, Grok? Just tell me, what are the implications now that the Iran war has drug on for so long and it doesn't look like there's an end in sight necessarily, right? What are the implications of that for the Russia-Ukraine war? And, people have always said that could basically snowball into World War III. And Grok and I were talking back and forth about, Russia, China, Iran, relationships there with like the axes, right, of resistance. And so Grok was telling me that right now Russia has a great opportunity to capitalize as an opportunistic an opportunity basically to capture a lot of the oil markets with China and things like that, because the strait's getting closed and it's open, and it's closed and open. So essentially what Russia can do right now is make a bunch of money and then push all the money back into the war and push against the NATO and further back into Ukraine potentially. And so I was like, man, that's crazy. So this over here could potentially cause Russia to push even harder now back into Ukraine.
I think these guys are trying to say the whole world is connected.
Yes, yeah, and that's my point. Is like I was just talking. There aren't
nation states. There aren't nation states like we think. And I've made this comment, and I know when I was on the radio show that a lot of people thought I was crazy, and I said it doesn't appear to me that there is such thing as sovereign nation states anymore. We think they're sovereign nation states, but if you just look at the resources, right? We have to have water. Right. We have to have food. You have to mass produce food. We got how many 8 billion people on the planet? 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion people on the planet. That's what they say. Right.
Can you believe before World War II, there's only 2 billion people on the planet?
Yeah. So you have this explosion of people that you have to feed, and you have to have resources for them. So the people that are bringing the resources from the ground, the people that are feeding you, the people that are creating the money, they have more power than the governments. Because all you'd have to say to the government is, well, okay, we're just not going to give you oil anymore. Now what are you going to do? Right?
Good luck.
Good luck. We're just not going to produce the oil. You're going to do it our way or the highway. And it would certainly make sense that those big corporations would have more say than governments, because they got the governments over a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended.
Especially in a capitalistic society, in my opinion. I'm all for.
Could you imagine this society? By the way, oil was down. So oil was down. Gas was down. We were driving yesterday, my wife and I, and it was $3.75 a gallon down here. It was $4.39 a gallon 6 weeks ago. So for the people that said it was going to come back down, hey, so far so good. It's moving in the right direction. It was $2.89 when this all started, so it's still up $1, and I'm still getting shafted, but it is down.
Yeah, down 23% in the last month. It's up 3% in the last 5 days. Not too much, but we'll see if it keeps coming down. Overall.
It's heading back up again.
Well, it's a slight increase yesterday, because of close open, that kind of nonsense.
Gotcha.
But
can I do more on the show before we go on to the AI data center stuff that I want to talk about? Can we do the haters? Can we do the Trump haters that are
I know, I love that video.
I want to just, I think you have to show it over and over again before it connects with Donald Trump loyalists. And again, I'm not against Donald Trump. I'm not against people that root for Donald Trump. I'm not against people that think he is playing 5D chess. I'm not against anybody. I just say that, in order to be a good citizen, you should question the things that you think you know, because most of the information is orchestrated for you. But here are the haters. All right. Now, these are people in Donald Trump's administration. We're going to play this the other day. And if you don't believe it's theater, then you have to explain this to me, because these people are not saying I disagree with Donald Trump on policy. When you hear what they have to say, they're calling him a thief and a charlatan and a liar, right? Now, these are people that were against him are now his closest allies, which is what Dr. Shiva said.
Yeah.
Dr. Shiva said they all fight, and then they coalesce around whoever they decide the leader is going to be, because that's the game.
Yeah.
They don't mean anything that they say. It's all theatrics. Well, here's a perfect example of it. The haters, clip number 6.
They're going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
It's typical Trump. All bluster, very little substance.
For you to think that you can pimp out our proud servicemen and women to the Prince of Saudi Arabia is disgraceful, and it once again shows that you are unfit to serve as our commander-in-chief.
Trump is a really bad candidate, and frankly, I think a really bad person.
I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy.
Well, I think the problem is, number one, he's a bully. And, I don't like bullies.
This is what happens when a leading presidential candidate goes around feeding into a narrative of anger and bitterness and frustration.
This is a guy who said that John McCain is not a war hero, yet he sought his own 5 military deferments.
There's nothing in our Constitution that gives you the power to go to war without the express consent of Congress.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
We're about to turn over the conservative movement to a person that has no ideas of any substance on the important issues, the nuclear codes of the United States, to an erratic individual.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
The military is not even going to follow his orders.
The military is not going to follow illegal orders. And so the Trump
yeah,
campaign
they will.
was forced to change their position and say, we're going to try to change the law so that the military can operate within the law. That's a tall order also.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office.
We may not have that many outright Nazis in America, but we have plenty of cowards and bootlickers. And once those fleshy dominoes start tumbling into the Trump camp, the game is up.
Here's the problem with Trump. He says, go ahead and kill the families. Go ahead and torture. Go ahead and go further than waterboarding. What happens when people follow those orders or don't follow them? It's not clear that Donald Trump will have their back. Donald Trump is oftentimes about Donald Trump.
At the end of the day, do you believe Donald Trump, who always tells the truth? Just kidding. Or do you believe that woman on that tape?
He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for.
There's a man who in rallies has told the supporters to basically beat up the people who are in the crowd and he'll pay their legal fees.
There is definitely an element of Donald Trump's support that has its basis in racism or xenophobia.
Who would want a top-tier presidential candidate getting all of their military advice from watching Meet the Press?
Fellow service members and I, we are not your prostitutes. You are not our pimp.
Can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
No matter what happens in this election, for years to come, there are many people on the right.
It's incredible, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, Van said, I am a never Trump guy, and I can't stomach Trump, his vice president.
His vice president. It's, you know, it's what do you think you would have to do to get it across to people that it's just theater, that everything they say is politically motivated, has no basis in reality whatsoever. They're all theater actors. They're all that's another thing in that video that I want everybody to watch. Isaiah, he said, in order to move yourself closer to the top of whatever rung, the more power you accumulate, the more compromised you have to be. And that's exactly the way mafias work, right? That's how gangs work.
That's the Masons.
That's the Bloods and the Crips, right? Bloods and the Crips. If you want to be at the top level of the Bloods and the Crips, you got to kill somebody.
Yeah. Cartel, too.
Yeah, you have to kill somebody. You have to rob somebody. You have to do something because they have to have some information on you that will put you in prison for the rest of your life in order to gain trust. Why would it be any different in the power structures of our governments? It's not, and it wouldn't. And that's why that's why people say that, you know, a lot of people in Congress are compromised, and they can be compromised many different ways. Bought off, right? Just like think how a mafia works. Mm-hmm. They intimidate you, they buy you off, they compromise you. That's the way mafias work. And, you know, he said in that video that the government, the world runs like a mafia. And I'm telling you, Isaiah, I've never seen that guy before, never seen that video before, don't know anything about it. And I have made those comments on and off for the past 4 years now. Because if you do this every day and watch it and really pay attention to it, you come to no other conclusion. It's just absolutely a fact. Wait a minute.
That's a fact, Jack.
Jack! That's a fact, Jack!
That's how the world works. And it's hard for people to stomach.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard for people to stomach because we have been so conditioned to think that we can go out and pick our elected representatives. They're going to do great things for us, this and that and the other. It's hard to believe that it's WWE wrestling, which is exactly what he called it on that video. How many times have I said that? He said it's WWE wrestling. And that's what it is.
Yep.
Go to number 3, Lindsey Graham. Now, Lindsey Graham is somebody that Donald Trump, if you remember back to the very beginning in 2016, he was very against Lindsey Graham. Then they became buddies. Now he's endorsing Lindsey Graham. The people of South Carolina can't stand Lindsey Graham. They can't stand him. If he wins the election in South Carolina, you have to wonder, are the elections just so far gone that it doesn't even make any sense to even have him anymore? Check it out. This is Lindsey Graham, clip number 3. Listen to this crowd boo him.
Welcome to Pichek. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thanks a lot. Well, You want to find something common?
You want to find something common?
All right. Thank y'all. Thank you all very much. Welcome to Pickens County. A little bit about this county. Just calm down for a second. I think you'll like this. Pickens County has more Medal of Honor winners per capita than any place in the nation.
That is in very conservative red South Carolina.
Very.
And the only reason they would be booing Lindsey Graham is for his support of Israel and for the support of the war. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the main topic. That's where his information comes from. That's who he is. That's what he talks about. That's what his belief system is. War, war, war. He loves war. Anytime there's a chance for war, he's behind it. And that's because he works for the military industrial complex. And this guy laid it all out. Who's for what, where they come from, how this whole system is devised. And that's where he's with in South Carolina. They have military contracting organizations down there. That's what he represents. It's like Robin Williams used to say, if all these politicians would just wear patches on their jackets like NASCAR race car drivers, then at least we'd know who they work for. Yeah. Well, there you go. Now you know who he works for. Yeah. But what's interesting about that is you have these Donald Trump people. And again, I say it just that way because I'm just speaking generalities. The Donald Trump people that think that he's doing a great job and the Republicans are behind him. How does that make any sense? If he's endorsing Lindsey Graham, they have the same opinion on going to war with Iran, same opinion on going to war just in general, the same love affair with Israel, then why are they cheering Donald Trump and booing Lindsey Graham? It doesn't make any sense. Because there's no other reason to boo Lindsey Graham. That's his main focus is the war. So
yeah. Did you see? I know you mentioned you're mentioning candidates and things like that, and we're talking about all these people inside the administration. Did you see last night Trump's first loss in Iowa?
No.
Yep. So he endorsed Randy Feenstra for the governor's race in Iowa, and he lost. First loss of a Trump-endorsed candidate in 2026. You remember how we talk about his 100% record? So versus a guy who ran on an Iowa first agenda. So very, very
Iowa first. I like Iowa first. That's Jake Jackson, right? He's got Missouri first.
Yeah, Zach Lane is his name.
We'll get to Jake in a minute. Now I want to finish up with the show, right? Because I'm trying to tie some of these things together. Can we go to now? Remember, we started with Mark Levin commenting about Donald Trump having a shouting match with Bibi Netanyahu, and that was leaked to the press. Okay, I submit to you that is an orca to be like writing a script going, how do we get confidence back in Donald Trump? Well, what we do is we'll leak it because we'll make it look like the person who leaked it is a bad person. Now, if Donald Trump was mad because somebody leaked that conversation, would he be freaking out like he used to when somebody leaked? He ain't freaking out about this one. He's endorsing it, saying, yeah, I said this and the other. So we'll play those clips here in just a minute. This is what theater looks like. This is the theater that people have to be. And do you think that it's even possible?
Did you see what all the Israeli officials were saying on Twitter? Did you see what they were saying? They were saying, I don't know if it was about, I don't think it was about this, but when he was talking to, it was another conversation that just recently happened between him and Bibi. And maybe this was the conversation, but he was essentially telling him that we need to get a ceasefire in place and don't invade Lebanon and these things. And all the Israeli officials were saying, hey, Israel will have Israel's agenda first, basically. Whatever's best for Israel is what we're going to do. We're not going to listen to the president of the United States, which is funny because that's all we're trying to say is that we want to put America first, but they could say that. And it's ironic to me, It
is. Isn't it ironic?
Yeah. Ben Gavi, the guy, the Orthodox guy who's like yeah. He was one of the guys who was saying that stuff.
Yeah, he almost got in a fight with somebody in the halls of Congress not too long ago. Somebody was challenging him on the Israel first policies versus America first, and he wanted to get in a fight with the guy.
Seems really like a clear, calm guy. He should probably be helping around the country for sure.
Yeah, something of that nature. All right, let's do this. I want to get back to this because I want to see Trump's response. So Mark Levin goes out and says, whoever leaked this should be in jail, this and that and the other. The story is that Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump were having a conversation. Donald Trump said, you're started using expletives and started getting after Bibi Netanyahu. If it weren't for me, you'd be in prison, this type of thing. Supposedly leaked. Then you have the traditional characters. Remember I said Laura Loomer was in it when it was coming to Massey, right? She's one of the characters. When you're in the game, she's one of the characters. Mark Levin is one of those characters that's in the game. Dave Rubin is in the game. Benny Johnson, he's in the game. There's several people that are just in the propaganda bubble, right?
Yeah.
And you have to recognize what they're trying to get done so that you can really understand what's going on in politics if that's something that you're curious about.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Donald Trump, clip number 7, confirming that he did have this shouting match with Bibi Netanyahu. Check this out.
Angry with him. You said, are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing? I helped you stay out of jail. Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I wouldn't say angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. You know, at some point I said, Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it. But I have a very good relationship. We've done well together. He always says, we could never have done it, but everybody knows that we could have never done it without the United States. But I've worked very well together. I like Bibi a lot, and I've worked very well with him. We had I'm a wartime president. He's a wartime prime minister. Very important part of the world, and I think we've done very well. We've gotten along very well together.
See? Mm-hmm. See how he did it though? So the idea was, yes, I did. I'm in charge because I'm screaming and effing Bibi Netanyahu, and then he comes back. But I like Bibi. We're wartime presidents. We've been along. We've done a lot of great things together. This and the other. Scripted, total, complete Warenberg theater, WWE fake narrative building nonsense. All right, clip number 8. Here's another one. Just when the guy said the reason the statements are so inconsistent is because the event happens, because it's going to happen, and then the politicians are there to give you a plausible reason for why it happened, right? That's what he said, and I agree with that 100%. Okay, so let's go to number 8. Trump started the Iran war.
That's all they do. That's all they're good for is words. Like, I heard that the other day for the first time. I said, he tricked me. I mean, I'm the one that started it because, again, I don't want to bore anybody, but I started because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Now, that pertains to Israel because they probably would have been the first one to get hit. Mm. There would be no Israel. Tell you what, if there wasn't me, there would be no Israel.
Okay. So now he said that they struck him first. What did Marco Rubio say? Marco Rubio said that America got into bombing Iran because Israel's getting ready to do it and they had to do it first. That's what Rubio said right in the halls of Congress. And there's Donald Trump saying, I did it. It was me. I'm the one. They're following me. I'm not following them. His Secretary of State said the exact opposite thing in the halls of Congress. We played that clip many times. Are you looking for it?
I'm emailing Dana because I forgot to email her the link earlier.
Right.
We got to do advertisers.
Let's play one more clip to round this out, and then we'll do the advertisers. It's clip number 9. This is Jared Kushner. Now, Jared Kushner just went on a vacation. Who do you think he went on a vacation with, Isaiah? So now we got to remember, Jared Kushner. Let's check this out, just so you can kind of see. It just adds validation to how the world works, right? Because you have Jared Kushner, who's married to Ivanka Trump. He's Jewish. He's a Zionist. He was he used to live with Bibi Netanyahu, as I understand it, right? He was like when he was a kid, lived with Bibi Netanyahu. So he's got attachments to Bibi Netanyahu. He's Jewish. Ivanka Trump converts to Judaism, right? And then who do you think he's vacationing with and having a good time with? Let's hear it. Clip number 9, Isaiah. Jared Kushner.
On a vacation after we left government in the summer of 2021. We were on our friend Nat Rothschild's boat. We got picked up in Montenegro and then we started sailing.
Whose boat was he on?
Sounds like a robot.
Whose boat?
I was on a vacation after we left government in the summer of 2021. We were on our friend Nat Rothschild's boat.
Nat Rothschild. Can you imagine he was on Nat Rothschild's boat? And then he also, when he had this company called Cadre that was a startup, he got a $25 million loan. Who do you think he got that loan from, Isaiah? George Soros.
Whoa.
It's just unbelievable. So as you start to recognize what's really going on in the world, you have to say, what do you do to stop it? You know what that guy's advice was?
What's that?
He said the only way he goes, you can destroy the system that we're in and rebuild it anew. He said, but the only thing you could do to stop it is to stop paying your rent and your mortgage in unison, everybody. If everybody just stop paying their mortgage, the banks crack. They have no hold over you. They can't come get everybody out of their homes in unison from around the world. If you just stop paying your mortgages, everything would break. But you could never get anybody to do it, Isaiah.
No. Too afraid. Too afraid.
Too afraid.
Same thing with the IRS and taxes.
Same thing. I got a buddy, Kevin Pittman, who used to be an advertiser with me, and I still pushes. He's a welder, and he is into not paying your taxes. He's starting to learn about the Fed, and a lot of people believe it's a voluntary tax. So he's starting to spread that all over social media. I've been watching it, and I think that is true. Everett Jones, we talk about it with Everett Jones. He says the same thing. I have several people in my life, and Vandersteel. And Vandersteel's another one of these people. I forget what they call themselves, but they don't think they should be paying federal income taxes, so they don't. And they're basically saying they sign a paper. I think it's called what is the name of it? Revocation of elections, I think it's called. And you send that in, and then there's a certain amount of time where the IRS has to respond to you. And by law, if they don't respond within a certain time, then you basically win.
Wow.
In essence. Yeah.
Wow.
And several people have done it. I just can't advise people to do those kind of things because I don't know.
No. It's not something it's do at your own risk, right?
Yeah, do at your own risk kind of thing. All right.
100%. Rocket, baby. Mitch is already in here.
ROCKITcareers.com for all the small to medium-sized businesses out there. If HR is not getting the job done, you lean on rocketcareers.com, ROCKITcareers.com. You can reach them at 636-778-2419. Now, this is a business from coast to coast, all around the country. So if you are a small to medium-sized business and HR is either too expensive, maybe your HR department is too expensive, and or they don't put the right candidates before you, always think rocketcareers.com. They have a network of people from coast to coast that can fill positions for you. They vet them, they prepare them so that you have the top talent in your business so that your business can thrive. Rocket, ROCKIT careers.com. My good friends, Mitch and Brian. And then again, if you're out of work, if you hate your job, if you're sitting in a little cubicle right now about ready to just give up on it all, can't take it for another day, rocketcareers.com will get you set up to help you launch a new career. They'll help you with your elevator pitch, your resume. They'll connect you to the businesses they work with from around the country, but they'll take care of you. They are the best in class. Rocket, ROCKIT careers.com, 636-778-2419. And then we got to talk about Helen. I got to get a hold of Helen. I keep forgetting my wife is on vacation, Isaiah. So at night, normally I would be working because she works, 2 or 3 nights a week, and I work at night, and I haven't been able to work at night because my wife is off and we've been hanging together. But I got to get a hold of Helen. We're going to have her on the show soon. Advanced Wellness MED. I keep forgetting the MED. Advanced Wellness MED.com. Dr. Helen Gelhart, as she likes to say, we assist with the divine healer. Feel, think, look, feel better, and live longer. She has the earliest cancer detection blood test in the business. She's not beholden to hospital administrations. That's the key to her. She is not, she will treat you with the best care possible. She's not in a little vacuum with these hospital administrations. She does the right thing by each and every one of her patients based on their need, not based on what insurances will, groups that she can send you, because like a specialist, Isaiah, she doesn't have to send it to a certain specialist who she might think, she might believe is not very good. She wants to send it to the specialist she thinks does the best work outside of her hospital administration. So she said, I'm not going to be involved in that. The earliest cancer detection blood test in the business. And she works on Alzheimer's and dementia patients. They have symptom reversal techniques that she likes to promote throughout her business. And I got to tell you, if you've ever been involved with somebody who has dementia or Alzheimer's in your family, what a pain. Very difficult to deal with. And if you can reverse those symptoms, I say get a hold of Helen Gelhart, advancedwellnessmed.com, 314-576-0094. She also does testing for strokes, heart attacks. Early detection can keep you out of trouble. So if you're somebody who is predisposed to cancer, heart attacks, she'll take care of you. Get in and check out Dr. Helen Gelhart, 314-576-0094, 314-576-0094. And then when it's lunchtime today, Isaiah, on this beautiful hump day, it is
John
Moe's
was texting
Pizza.
us last night about Moe's.
Moe's Pizza. Yeah, they were out there last night. John Grady, I think, and his wife and son were out there last night. Moe's Pizza in Washington, Missouri, a landmark in Washington, Missouri. They have a great pizza and salad bar, delicious chicken wings. The sandwiches are spectacular. The ice cream, to die for. And if you have any kind of get together in Washington, Missouri, or anywhere in that area, think about Moe's Pizza. They have banquet space available for birthday parties, anniversaries, political meetings, Bible studies, you name it. They will take care of it. It'll feel like family when you go in because they're just terrific people. God owns the place. He just works there. Moe's Pizza at the corner of Grand and 5th Street in Washington, Missouri. Get there. And when it's time for an oil change, Isaiah, where do we go? We go to Valvoline Express Care, Valvoline-Express Care. If you want coupons and locations, you got to go to Valvoline-expresscare.com. 15 minutes from Bay to on your way. Quick, easy, efficient oil changes. No pressure, no sales pressure, no appointments. All Valvoline branded products. They have locations in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Highland, Illinois, Troy, Illinois, Lemay Ferry Road, Warrenton, Missouri, Mid Rivers Mall Drive, St. Peter's Parkway. They are the best in business. Great people, longtime proponents of what we do at People's Lobby, Missouri, and on the Rob Carter Show. Valvoline-Express Care if you want to go get some coupons. Tony Clark, my man, if you don't have that sticker in your window, we simply cannot, under any circumstances, be friends.
That's right.
All right. Let me get through here.
Breaking news.
Give it to me.
President Trump announces the next step in the administration's successful war on crime. The Department of Justice's Model Citizens Initiative designed to slash violent crime and restore law and order in major cities across America. He just released a 2-minute video. If you wanted me to play it, I can.
Go ahead. Play it, sure.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Breaking news, let it happen.
Yeah.
We break news.
It's everyone's going to be excited about this. $100 million and the fiscal year 27 budget is going to be allotted for this program. So excited for more money. I love expanding the government. That's what Republicans are all about, right? Right, Rob?
Yes.
That's right. I remember. I thought it wasn't, but then you're right. Sorry.
From the very first day I took office, our administration has waged the most successful war on crime in American history. Last year, the murder rate saw the single largest decline ever recorded, falling to the lowest level in 125 years. We've reduced the fentanyl coming across our border by 60%, from Washington to Memphis to New Orleans to our southern border. We are restoring law and order to America. Now we're taking our next big step to defend public safety in America. At my direction, the Department of Justice is beginning what we're calling the Model Cities Initiative to slash violent crime in major metropolitan areas all across our country. In selected cities, the Department of Justice will provide $300 million in grants to hire police officers, modernize equipment, provide training, and improve law enforcement. This historic funding will go to confronting substance abuse, preventing youth crime, and combating repeat offenders. In short, we're committed to making historic investments in improving the quality of life of city residents nationwide. For the next 90 days, any city or local government representing a population of more than 100,000 people can apply to take part in this exciting new program. It's amazing. Tell your local representatives to apply now by going to www.justice.gov/grants. With your help, we will put more police on our streets, and we will put dangerous criminals behind bars where they belong, and we want to keep them there. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. You're amazing people.
You're amazing people.
Have you ever seen the video where he's doing those and he starts getting mad because he's not nailing it the way he wants to? Have you ever seen those videos?
No.
He's trying to.
I've seen the clip, like the behind the scenes of him doing him over and over again, and he's like, no, go back.
Damn it. Yeah, he does those kind of things. I love it because I do that too. Every once in a while, you put a video out and you want to get it right, and you just get irritated because you keep stumbling over the word, or you don't accentuate the way you want to.
Dan's speaking. This is how I was trying to tie it all together. Boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you see any of the, because we want to get into local politics now. Did you get to see Ellman, Eigel, or Law? Did you get to see any of that last night?
I didn't get to see any of it.
I think Jake was there. I wonder if we can get Jake on the phone. I wonder if Jake's listening. If Jake's listening, we should get him.
I was thinking we should have done a report from him, maybe like a 3 to 5 minute report about what happened. Jake, if you're listening, I can send you the link. Just go in the chat and let us know. We can have you join.
Well, he's on here.
He's got his podcast set up now. He's got a mic and everything. So
perfect. Yeah, see if we can get. I would love to hear what he thought of the event last night, because I don't have I'm
gonna hop off and I'm gonna call him really quick.
Okay, because I don't have any ill will towards any of these people, but it's Ellman, Jason Law. I've interviewed all of them. Bill Eigel, I'm friendly with. He was on the show. He was on the station that I worked at. Used to fill in a lot, and I like all of them. But the question that Jake got out there was about flock cameras. Jake, he told me yesterday that he sent in a question to the moderators last night, which was Mike Ferguson from News Talk, where I used to work too. So I was at News Talk, STL, and then I was at Real Talk. Mike Ferguson was the morning show on News Talk. He was the one asking the questions. Jake got him to ask a question to these county executive candidates, St. Charles County executive candidates, about flock cameras. And 2 of the 3 were all for the flock cameras. And it seems to me that the surveillance state is going to happen because the politicians, and I don't think they're ill-meaning. I could be wrong with some of them, but I think they are just ill-advised and don't really understand what the Constitution, our constitutional protections, are supposed to be. The flock cameras, they were making the argument. We'll play the clip here in a little bit and we'll get some information from Jake if we can. But they're basically just saying, these are at parks. They do read license plates. They said that they do read license plates, but they're in the parks. They're this, they're that, and the other. If it's reading your license plate and it's surveilling you when you're out in public and they're growing and there's going to be more and more and more, then I don't understand how politicians who understand the Constitution can be for them. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But they're starting to pop up everywhere. The AI data centers are coming. The flock cameras are coming. The Palantir method of surveillance and protection, if you want to call it protection, it's all taking shape, and it's happening very, very quickly. And no matter how hard the people push back on it, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Did we get Jake?
He is he's not at home right now, but he said he can come on tomorrow and give us a good update about the debate, which I think would be good, because then we can do a real update about the full debate. I think we should play his video though, definitely.
All right, let's just play it right, because I'm talking about flock cameras. It's clip number 2. So this is a live video last night. This is going on around the country. Again, if you're somebody from around the country listening, this is what's happening in every single neighborhood around the country. It's just a matter of whether people know that it's going down or not. Check it out. Jake Jackson, this is his video about flock cameras.
As first responders, what role or what limits should that technology have in the county when it comes to first responders and law enforcement? And then I'll also go with the question that was asked here. Things like flock cameras or whatever brand it's going to end up being that surveils and reads license plates and tracks that sort of data. Do you believe that those are constitutional? And if so or if not, what kind of limits should be on a technology that's ever changing?
Hey, we'll go up the line. Jason Law, 1 minute.
I've been in law enforcement for nearly 30 years, and I deal with these all the time, and these concerns. Anytime there's a new technology, it's scary, and people want to fight it. And then when we show that we use it properly amongst our citizens, they become more trust with it. For example, we had an individual not too long ago that improperly used a technology. They were fired and charged with a crime. So right now, I'm not against this technology. I think it needs to be monitored and it needs to be secured. But the flock cameras in particular, when they're at parks, they make sure that child molesters stay out of the parks. They make sure that murderers stay off the street. They track stolen cars, and what stolen cars do is they're used in more crimes later on. So when we track those stolen cars, we can get to them quickly before they do the violent crimes that they're about to commit. They're a good technology. We just need to make sure that we use them properly, and then we're transparent with the public, and we keep the public notified of all the things that we're doing.
So I don't support these flock cameras, and I've been really worried about kind of the expansion of the surveillance state that we've seen in America, not just in recent years, but for almost 20 years now. It seems like every government abuse starts with someone in government saying, well, we're doing this for safety. You know, I've got one of these cameras actually right down my street, 50 yards from my house. There hasn't been a crime committed on the street that I've been fortunate enough to live in 10 years I've been there, and yet now we have a camera that's tracking every one of my movements. When I was in the state senate, I opposed the prescription drug monitoring program for the same reasons. I don't think the government should track your prescriptions. I don't think the government ought to be tracking your license plate just because you happen to be driving down the street. And listen, there's a lot of good things we can do to support our law enforcement officers. We're doing a good job in St. Charles County with a lot of our municipalities. We don't have to sacrifice our personal liberties to government in order to solve every issue. And that's not what I think.
We had this discussion just today, and I can tell you that we have 29 flock cameras that the county has and controls. 22 of them are at the entrances to our many parks. Okay, and one of the things these cameras do is that they do license plate readings, and in the computer is the name of every person who's a sex offender who under the law is not allowed in a county park, and if they enter in a car that belongs to them, we immediately are notified, and we can make sure that that sex offender who is not legally allowed to be in our park can be in our park. Now, you know, we got these drones are a big thing now too, and people don't understand the big thing for us with drones is that we have these drones, we can get to an emergency quicker. We can, if there's an accident, we can get a drone there in a matter of minutes. They take a lot longer to get the car there. So the big thing about drone is they get people where they need to be quicker.
All right, thank you. Susie Moore.
All right, we've got another audience question.
We've heard a lot about
Isaiah.
Man, so I forgot that other guy's name who is
Steve Ellman, Jason Law, and Bill Eigel.
Yeah. So
I like Jason Law.
He said we use it properly. That's a direct quote of what he just said about flock cameras. We use it properly. Yesterday, we just showed that video of the lady Lauren from O'Fallon Police Department, and I just wrote down the notes here. Her husband was arrested, didn't match the description even. It was an African-American male, and he's a white male.
Right.
And so even though he
had cops surround her home with guns drawn, 7 cops surrounding her house with guns drawn on her family based on flock camera information that was inaccurate. And what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, what do you do? It's like I said, you know, we're dealing with machines here, so there's not a lot you can do. Nobody seems to care about the surveillance state anymore, Isaiah. You know, I think about it all the time because I remember being free. I remember what it was like to be free. I didn't forget what it was like. I used to live right by the airport in St. Louis, Isaiah. Me and my friends used to ride our bikes to Lambert Airport, park our bikes outside of Lambert Airport, and play hide and seek inside of the airport all day long. We would go inside of the terminals. They had where you could play video games, and I'm talking about 10, 11 years old. Yeah. Play video games inside the airport. You could have lunch inside the airport. We would spend the whole day inside of the airport just playing around and hanging out. Now, in order to get into the terminals, you have to get got to get the anal probe, right? Got to get that anal probe. They got to get the complete and total molestation where they're, you know, down around under the belt line, if you understand what I'm saying, and they're completely molesting you. You have to stand in line for an hour, right, in order to do it in some of these places. If you live in Florida and you've got Disney World down here and you want to come in March or April or May, you could be in line for 2 hours to get through the security line, right? This is all done because our government did not protect us on 9/11. That's how that all started. Now they have the Patriot Act. Now they have the 702. Now you have the flock cameras because they didn't control our borders, which they're constantly.
Rob, you're not understanding. It's for your safety. Okay.
I know, but why don't citizens get more riled up? Is it just, that's why I said, is it the vaccinations? Are we so distant from our Constitution?
It's boiling the frog. It's boiling the frog. That's what it is. That's why we have to wake the people up, because it's the boiling the frog method is. And you heard what Steve Ellman, did you hear his framing?
Sex offender.
Boom. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we talk about all the time. We say, look at how they frame this to make you think a certain narrative. Oh, you're telling me, you're asking me a question that is asking why I support these flock cameras. And I know that my constituents don't like them. So you know what I'm going to say? hey, you know those sex offenders, right?
Right. Exactly. This guy, Uncle Ned, says, nah, mate, the government was behind 9/11. I don't disagree with that at all. You're not getting a disagreement from me, but I'm saying if you just believe the official narrative, if you're just, 75% of the American public, you believe that planes just,
You
they
have
were
that Bush quote where it says,
terrorists.
the we're not patriots. Do you have that soundbite from Bush?
Oh, wait a minute.
You just played it the other day. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, here we go. You want a little Bush?
Yeah. No, just because it was so it's so good for what you're talking about right now.
Which one do you like the best? This one?
Either you are with us,
yes,
or you are with the terrorists. Either you're with us, either you love freedom and with nations which embrace freedom, or you're with the enemy. There's no in between. You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's
framing.
clear.
Right? But the reason I say Uncle Ned, the reason that I say that the government didn't protect us is because if you believe the official story that these guys with box cutters from Saudi Arabia all band together, they got through, they got through the airlines. Nobody could have ever known that it was going to happen, and blah, 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 blah. If you believe that story, and as it was told, then you'd also have to agree that the United States government and our FBI and all these surveillance systems that we have in the first place could not protect us.
Yeah.
Right. You have to believe that because once you start to see, as a citizen that your government can't protect you, then you go, well, I need you to protect me. Therefore, I need you to surveil me more. I need you to make sure that we have a 2-hour waiting line at Lambert Airport to travel. I need to make sure that if you don't agree to it, I can swipe you down. I can get my, like I said, you get the little anal probe in there to make sure that you're not carrying any weapons. You got to go through this whole rigmarole. It's absolutely insane. Right. And then you get the 702 FISA warrants. Then you get the kill switches in your cars. Then you get the flock safety cameras. Then you have total surveillance of every man, woman, and child on the planet, and you're no longer free. It's just that simple. They're doing it. 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 Can you clip that? I want to make sure people know that they're doing it.
They are doing it.
They are doing it, and that's Palantir's creed. Palantir was funded by our government.
Yeah,
it's not a private industry. Everybody goes, Palantir is a private company. I mean, it's not a private company. It was bankrolled by the CIA.
Yeah,
the same people that start wars all over the world. I mean, come on.
When I saw that Brett Baer clip when he was in China, it looks no different than America now, with the cameras up and surveilling everyone. And he's saying, he's framing it like, look how bad China is because this person jaywalked and now they're getting a deduction out of their account. But I see that's where we are heading towards if we're setting up systems, because that's how, if you look at the systems and the operational structure, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so what do you expect the end result to be?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just a logical person and that's how I think. And I'm big on systems and operations and things like that. And
I'm a systems guy too. You a systems person?
Yes. Yeah.
So
my jobs were in, my titles that I held were revenue operations. I was a director, VP of revenue operations, where I would work with the sales, marketing, and customer success teams and optimize all the processes to make more money for the company.
Right.
And so that's
how big organizations and watch systems in action. It does give you a sense of how systems kind of take over everything. It's not people anymore. It's just you're a person. You're just a piece of that system.
Yes.
And then the system kind of takes over any individuality or any.
That's what they want.
You might have, which is exactly what they want. They got it. They absolutely have it. All right, let's bring in Dana Bowers. Dana Bowers. I like Dana Bowers because Dana Bowers gives them hell. She is with Pacific Route Coalition, and she was on the show once before. We played a video of her where she's giving it to the presiding commissioner. I guess the entire.
Can we play a video of her before we bring her on from yesterday? Let's do it. It's from the Missourian.
All right, let's do it.
And then we'll bring her in here. Be prepared, Dana. I see you. This is on the Missourian's website, so it's taking me a minute. Sorry.
All right.
Let me know if you can hear it, Rob.
This is a free speech.
I can.
By literally removing the voices of the people, you're literally trying to play God in this county. That is not okay. Period. End of story. It's not okay. I am just beside myself with this whole concept of let's just make up the rules as we go. You have violated ordinances, rules, regulations of your own, not posting specific materials within 24 hours letting us know that meetings have been canceled. There's so many things that have been violated. Our rights have been violated. We're done. The corruption is being exposed. You're being exposed, sir. We know who you're working for. You're not working for the people of this county. You're working for Kehoe and the states, and we say stop.
All right. Dana Bowers, what's going on, Dana? You are a troublemaker. I like you. We're not going to hear about it. We do this every single time.
She's muted. She's muted. She's just muted. Unmute your mic there on the...
She can hear you and me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
What's going on, Dana?
Hi, guys.
How are you? So how'd it go yesterday? A lot of action there yesterday. You had Elliot Davis. You had Tim Baker making a statement. You're out there with the megaphone. Give me a little sense of what went down in Franklin County yesterday as the citizens continue to push back against the AI data centers.
Well, obviously, myself and the potential of Jim Roberts will add him to the list of culprits have caused such havoc that Dave Schatz made a statement saying that he doesn't want to hear us talk anymore because he's tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. And he doesn't like being basically confronted. He doesn't like the fact that we are just making, as he calls it, accusations, the innuendos, the insinuations, the insults. Well, here's the thing: is you're sitting in a political figure's seat. That's part of it. We as the citizens and residents of this county have the right to come to a meeting and voice our concerns and confront our local government officials, period, end of story. And that's exactly what Tim Baker stood up and said for us yesterday. You like that box, do you?
I love
my
it.
written testimony. I figured, hey, if I put it on something that they can't just throw into another box, they have to keep it. They can't destroy written testimony.
You wrote your testimony on a box.
I did. I wrote my actual testimony on a box with a Sharpie, so they can't destroy it. I mean, because at any point in time later on down the road, that could be subpoenaed in litigation. So
fantastic.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's just they're making up rules. And what we found out yesterday, I had a long conversation with Tim Baker after that the meeting that we were basically shut out of because we weren't allowed to speak. You could only put written testimony in. And I went on live stream and maintained my live stream from the meeting and walked outside. I actually had a speaker and microphones in my car. And I said, you know what, guys, they won't let us talk. So let's just go outside and we'll just blast it over a speaker so everybody can hear us instead of just the commissioners. Because if you have put it on a piece of paper and handed it to them, there is absolutely no evidential proof that they're even going to read it. No one's going to hear it. So let's make the world hear it. Let's allow the people to hear it. That's why we go to these meetings. That's the whole point. So
how many people were there? Because I heard Elliot Davis, because he did an interview with Schatz afterwards, which we'll play later on in the show. Mm-hmm. He said 800 or 900 people. I didn't see that many people out front. Were there that many people there?
No, not yesterday. He was actually referring to one of our marathon meetings. We had one meeting. There was well over 1,000 people. He said 800 or 900. It was actually a little over 1,000. And that was at the 11.5-hour planning and zoning meeting. And then about the same came and went 800-900 from the commission meeting that was on May 18th.
Gotcha. And what was the response from the commission yesterday when they said only written testimony? What was the vibe in the room? Was it were people anxious? Were they aggravated? Was there any commotion, or was everybody just like?
People were angry. People were angry. People were standing up saying, we don't appreciate you basically taking away our constitutional rights. You guys are tyrants. Just because you don't like what we have to say doesn't mean that we're paying you to sit there and listen to us and what we have to say. And now you're even eliminating that right. And that's part of the problem is having this conversation with Tim Baker is they follow the Missouri state statutes because Franklin County does not have any of the in-between rules, ordinances, and regulations. So Dave literally just makes up his own rules as he goes along. Oh, well, I don't like this, so I'm going to do this. Well, I don't like this, so we're going to do it this way. Just the same thing with it's every single thing that he has been doing. And now that this specific issue has come to light and has caused so many people come out. Now everything else is being exposed along the way. And there's so many more things that's being done in violation of rules, ordinances, regulations, and the law. And it's funny how he wants to try and say that people are disturbing the peace. They're being disruptive. Because they're being disruptive, we're not going to let you speak anymore. And because the things that they're saying are accusatory, he literally yesterday on his interview with Elliot Davis made reference to the fact that he doesn't even know where all of us are coming from. Where are we getting our funding? And he had the audacity.
Oh, I saw that. I'm going to talk about that later. I got the whole interview.
Audacity to like try and say that it's from China. Okay,
yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm like,
Dana. First time I've seen Dave Schatz in an interview. That's the first time I've seen him in an interview, and I thought, oh my goodness, these are typical authoritarian thought processes that he uses.
Absolutely,
right? Just,
100%.
I'm right, you're wrong, and because you're attacking me, I get to shut you up because I'm in a position of power and you're not. But in reality, if Dave Schatz was a person of the people, he would listen to what you guys have to say and say, let's talk. Here's what I have to say. I disagree with you, and this is why. Or I promise you, Dana, I'm not in Kehoe's back pocket. I'm not. I'm looking at this as objectively as I can. And he would invite this criticism and take it on because he's a public servant. But you can just tell by the conversation he had with Elliot Davis, that's not where his head is at. His head is at, I have the power, right? Mm-hmm. I'm in charge of this operation. These people are getting too loud. They're causing too much disruption, and therefore they're not able to speak. They can give written testimony, and that's it.
He had the nerve to even say that people are not obeying him. Well, I'm not your child, and you're not God, and the rules that you're putting out here are in violation of our rights, and so therefore, no, people aren't going to obey you. You're not God. What part of this do you not see? You can't. Why are you not grasping this?
Right.
I don't know if he needs to be. If we need to go off and request medical things to be, checked into like we did with Biden or what? I don't even know what's happening here.
Well, these talking points these talking points that's coming from China. Is that what you were trying to show, Isaiah, on the screen? Because this is what's going on with me, Dana.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I got right here.
There's several people that have made insinuations.
I know.
And I'm like, what is this? Is this the one where he says I'm from China? Yeah. Is that the China one?
I don't know if this is the one, but you said it. You said he's labeled me an agent of the CCP in this one. This was the one that showed his best colors, his true colors. Let's see
yeah.
I'm like the Pacific Route Coalition, and I will put this out there for everyone. The Pacific Route Coalition and the Franklin County Rural Coalition are the two coalitions in Franklin County that have stood up. We've acquired our own councils that are working together. And both of them have been very transparent. They post on their Facebook pages consistently where funds are coming in. I have nothing to do with anybody from China. I actually stopped at my parents.
It's ridiculous.
I actually stopped at my parents' house. I was like, this is the irony behind this is like, I'm born and raised here. Like this is where I was born and raised. This is my
Washington
house.
is beautiful. That's a beautiful place to live.
No, I have no connection to anybody. Nobody's funding me. If anything, Dave is causing so much financial hardship to all of us here by all of the meetings and forcing us to participate in hearings and all of this just because he won't say no. It's literally financially a burden, mental, emotional, and financial burden to those of us who do live here. Because we don't have funding. We are grassroots. This is literally our homemade signs. Nobody's paying us to protest. I'm also not a protester. I'm not any legal activist. I don't travel all over the world or nation, protesting things. That's not me. And this, making accusatory statements of, you're just trying to disturb the peace and you're just out here trying to create a platform for yourself. I did not want anything to do with the media. I avoided even talking to you the first time.
I know you did. You did.
So you're
not hunting the camera. Yeah, you're not hunting the camera. That's for sure.
No, I don't. But if this is the only way to get people to see the truth behind what's really happening in the corruption and what they're being allowed to do, then I guess so be it. Here we go.
What did you think of Dave Schatz when he said, Elliot Davis said, I think he said there's 100,000 people in this county, something of that nature.
There's
And
108,000 and 110,000 people in the county, 74,000 plus voters. Yes.
And Dave Schatz, who's the presiding commissioner, who you're at odds with right now, he said, Elliot Davis said there were 900 people here at the last meeting. Isn't that a representation? He said, I think that the majority of those people were people that lived in the neighborhoods where these data centers are going to be built, and they were making their voices heard, this and that and the other. And I think Isaiah, he knocked on a bunch of doors running for alderman. As I understand it, Isaiah, you got the same response as everybody else.
Oh yeah, no one wants the data centers.
The people in Franklin County don't want the data centers. So I don't know what the argument is.
Well, the argument is right now at this point in time, the way the laws are set in the state is this is what a lot of people don't understand is the potential tax funds that would come in would go specifically to the Bowles and the Merrimack School District in the Bowles Township area down in the affected areas. That's where the tax funds would go to. Dave Schatz and the other two commissioners are trying to get Mark Piontek, our corrupt county attorney, to figure out a way to redirect those funds, those potential tax monies, to the entirety of the county. So the people down in our area who are directly affected, who should get all of those monies, potential monies, now he's trying to divvy it up between everybody. The thing is even the people who don't live in the directly affected areas, even they're pissed off because they're like, wait a minute, if they're directly affected, they should get all the money. Why are you trying to even give it to us? Like, that's not okay. And again, it funnels down from the state. The state wants the entire county to have the funds instead of just the directly affected areas. And even the people who were not being vocal about being pro or anti-data center, which would be our fire, our ambulance, our police officers, and our school district, have now stood up and say even they're outraged. Even if it does come down to the money, instead of it being, which irritates me because this should be number one priority, is the health and wellness of our children sitting in those schools, the teachers, and the people that live around these potential facilities. That should be number one focus. But in Dave's world, he dismisses all of that because he's believing the developers, saying that there will be no impact on the environment or the health of the people around it. So he's just dismissing that completely. And his main focus is the money. So, okay, fine. You want to dismiss our concerns and you want to focus on money? Let's focus on money. If we do have to have these data centers there, who should get the money? The people directly affected. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Washington, Union, Sullivan, St. Clair, New Haven, all the extended areas of the county should not get a penny. It should go to the directly affected areas. And dear Mr. Schatz is trying to figure out a way to change the current law of how the money is dispersed. Now you got the people down here, the greedy people of our county, up in arms about that. So it's manipulative. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. He's utilizing his seat to get what he wants for Kehoe.
For Kehoe, you think that's what it is? Do you think this is a collaboration between the two? Because you got
absolutely. I do still truly believe that.
Right, because you got Kehoe, who appoints Dave Schatz, despite the fact that it got filibustered by Senator Mike Moon. Mike Moon said he had I was reading him on the floor of the Senate, 300 emails and letters in opposition to Dave Schatz being appointed presiding commissioner of Franklin County. Then you have, as I understand it, this Kirk Hilsinger, who I've been in a back and forth with for the last few days. Got this Kirk Hilsinger. Do you know this guy who came in and I guess was pushing the AI data centers? He's an IT guy. He's an engineer. He's been in every AI data center ever made in the history of the world. He knows everything about them from scoop to nuts. And you're just all a bunch of dummies because I, Kirk Hilsinger, say that I know more about AI data centers than you. This is kind of his
he's on the board of Freedom Principle.
Yeah.
He's on the board of Freedom Principle. They're all behind these AI data centers. And I don't know why they're behind these AI data centers. I mean, they're so out of touch with the public, and yet they're pushing them like it's the most important thing in the world. It just makes me feel, and I don't want to cast aspersions upon them, but man, it makes you feel like there's money involved here because nothing else seems to make any sense. How are you so for them when everybody that surrounds you is against them?
Oh, it's money, 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 money. Every bit of all of this is money.
Ready?
Okay.
Let me give this to you. Tell me if this sounds about right.
Housekeeping?
I got them all wrong. Darn it.
Come on, Rob.
Let's say I messed everything up.
Come on.
I have one that says money, 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 money. And it's one of my clips.
Money,
that
money.
That's what it's all about, is the money. And in Dave Schatz's world, he keeps repeating himself and says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And just the whole concept of how corrupt our local government is to allow one person, along with obviously the other two commissioners of District 1 and 2, Cox and Overschmidt, to play God. Literally play God with our county.
Are you getting help from Ben Brown, who's Senator Ben Brown from your area, or John Simmons? Are you getting help?
What I don't understand is that we've heard from Ben, we've heard from Brad, we've heard from Josh Hawley, and we've seen little tiny tidbits here and there about how they're not for the data centers, but they're not coming out here and helping us stop this. They're not helping stop the corruption at the county level. And it's literally to a point of, do we have to go knock on doors in Jeff City? Do I need to go knock on doors to our congressman?
Are you going with us?
At this point in time, I'm bound and determined to figure out a way to do so, because I feel like that's the only way to put a stop to the corruption here, is to go above their heads. It's like dealing with little toddlers that are misbehaving, and the only way to stop that is for the parents to discipline them, pat them on the butt and say, no, not okay. That's a slap them on the hand and say, this is not okay. Or put them in timeout, or say, you know what, you're done. You don't get to play this game anymore. So let's go to the parents, and the parents are sitting in DC. So let's go to the parents, because how do children learn? Okay. They learn from their parents. Parents' example. Well, our parental example right now at the federal level is not setting a very good example. Where's the federal regulations so that the state has something to go by?
I think the federal government. I think the federal government ultimately is behind it. I think that's the problem you're going to get, is the federal government is. I think that's what happened. We talked about this on the show before, Dana, and you can do your own research, because I think that's the kind of person you are. When Missouri, during COVID, Missouri started filling out their budgets with half of the money coming from the federal government, right? So Missouri can't pay its bills without federal money. They get half of their money comes from DC, right? And then you have Donald Trump stand next to Sam Altman and who was the other one? Sam and Larry Ellison, and say that they're going to invest $500 billion in what they called Stargate. That was the first day that Donald Trump was president. And I talked about it when it was happening. I think that they want these AI data centers. They're couching it around, and it was in the one of the bills where it said it can only be regulated by the federal government. They're basically, the federal government is shoving these down the throats of the states. I don't think they have any choice. I really don't. I think the states are now beholden to federal money. The federal government wants the AI data centers. Therefore, you're going to get the AI data centers. And I think these people within the states just have to do whatever they can to try to appease the people as these AI data centers are coming. I think that's what's going on. I think this is a federal program that the states are selling.
Okay, and I can say I potentially agree with you, and well, Kehoe's absolutely involved with it, because he's all about friggin' money, and he doesn't rightly care about the people. He can keep his farm and take care of his cattle, but we can't have ours. Okay, that's fine. So the federal government is behind this, and they want the data centers. Here's my whole point to that, though. I don't have a problem with the AI data centers as long as they're controlled AI data. What I have a problem with is where they're trying to put them.
Yep.
If you want to put them in, that's fine. And I will tell the people in DC the same damn thing I've been saying every time I talk to somebody. I don't have a problem with the AI data centers as long as they are placed in already previously zoned heavy duty industrial areas, and they are controlled AI data centers and not used for surveillance.
Yep.
Put up
and
that.
Good luck with that. I think that's what
do not come in to our county and our cities and our municipalities and townships and try to destroy our farmland, which is our way of life. This is how we survive. And you're allowing that to happen. Just put up that one guardrail. You're not allowed to purchase land, farmland, currently agriculturally zoned farmland, to put
a data center on it. You have to use already industrial zoned areas to do it.
Amen.
That is the only guardrail I would say I would just absolutely demand.
Outstanding.
That's it.
That's what
And
I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do in St. Clair.
Thank God somebody is trying to do something around here. I mean, well,
I'm getting pushback on it, but I'm trying.
Well, last night, I don't know if you saw my live from the City of Pacific Board of Aldermen meeting. We made a massive step forward last night. Our city alderman and our new mayor is just, I love them. They're doing what the people ask of them.
Good.
And they actually just passed a request for documentations to be written up where people cannot rezone or annex in without doing it at the same time. They also are having a moratorium by our city attorney to be drafted up. So for future, to protect our city, we will not be able to be propositioned by anyone wanting to build an AI data center. So our city as a whole is doing what we feel is what's in the best interest of our people there. So kudos to them. I commend them. Last night, the Board of Aldermen did make a step forward for our city. Our county level, on the other hand, there's much to be desired.
Oh yeah. I got one other question for you.
Yeah.
Just because you're Franklin County and you're a go-getter. Are you aware, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, if we have, I apologize. Are you aware of the Jeff Winehouse story?
I am.
What is your take on that? Because you're in there. What do you think of it?
Again, corruption, pure corruption. I think somebody got paid off.
It just seems so amazing to me. I've got a guy coming on the show tomorrow. And
I think someone got paid off.
It seems like it's happening more and more, and it's happening in Missouri a lot, which is kind of strange. But I've got a guy coming on tomorrow who says that a Navy SEAL was murdered, and it was ruled a suicide. And this guy was 6 months from getting his pension, this and that and the other. And I was on the phone with him for about 20 minutes yesterday. The story's breaking in the Washington Post tomorrow, and he's coming on my show tomorrow to promote it, right? And I said, what's the story behind it? And it's all kind of the same mantra. This particular sailor, this SEAL Team 4, I think it was, this person was a straight arrow, and there was a lot of corruption going on around him. And they didn't like him because he was going to expose the corruption. He believes they killed him while he was laying in his bunk in Afghanistan, and it's been covered up. He said Pete Hegseth was aware of it. Pete Hegseth said he was going to help, and Pete Hegseth just ghosted him. He said that Donald Trump Jr. said he was going to help, and he just ghosted him after now the story. That's why the Washington Post is going to print the story, is because, they're not big fans of Donald Trump. And this is a bit negative because Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump Jr. said they were going to do something about it and didn't. And I see all these things. I got somebody in Bowling Green, Missouri, who's been talking to me, somebody in Columbia, Missouri, talking about just unbelievable human rights violations. Nobody's doing anything about it. It's the craziest thing in the world. And then you got Jeff Winehouse, who shot 4 times. Everybody knows that this was an execution of Jeff Winehouse. I don't think there's anybody with any semblance of common sense whatsoever who doesn't look at the video and the surrounding story of Jeff Winehouse and not say there is a man in prison who's been there for 13 years for being nothing more than a journalist. He was just being a journalist. He was doing his job, and he's in prison for 13 years, got shot 4 times. And nobody, I can't get Kehoe or anybody. I've told the story to Ben Brown out there in Franklin County. I can't get anybody to do anything for this poor man. I just can't imagine. Could you imagine you have kids or a husband?
I do, yeah.
Could you imagine one of your kids or a husband being shot 4 times and being in prison for shooting somebody that they didn't shoot? Videotape the entire thing, and not one public official will speak out against it?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I totally get it. Like, I completely understand. There have been things in my life that have happened just like the voices of the people yesterday being completely eliminated across the board for the entirety of the county. Why? Because of me. Because Dave Schatz didn't like being confronted and called out by me. So you're going to punish the whole county because you don't like. And that actually is in violation of our Missouri state statute of decorum for open commission meetings. So you want to talk about me being disruptive and talking a little bit 48 seconds longer than I was allowed to by his rule. That 48 seconds, just butthurt him so bad. What I really wanted to do instead of the box, I really actually wanted to take in a pillow with a pillowcase on it and write my testimony on it, give that one to Ken Cox because he sleeps during meetings.
Yep.
And I wanted to take one of those little hemorrhoid pillows with the hole in the middle, and I want to write my testimony on that one. And I wanted to hand that one to Dave.
And then I wanted to take the box and hand that one to Paul and say, here, now you have a pillow to sit on since you got so butthurt from the last time I spoke. You can take a little nap and you can read in between your naps my testimony, and you can start packing your shit because you're going to be gone along with the other two as soon as election time comes. That's what I wanted to do, but I was like, I'm already kind of pushing the limit.
You're pushing the envelope as it is. I got to tell you, I love your spirit, because this is, you got to join our organization. Okay. You don't have to spend any money, but you should join our organization, because what we want to do is like what you're saying. You'll have the people in primarily in the Republican Party, not so much the Democrat Party on this particular issue. But if you get a little aggressive, if you get, if you make accusations, if you're a little sassy, they see that as a terrible thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're upset with us for being upset with people that are obviously corrupt. You've got, like I said, you got a man in prison for 13 years who did nothing except take your bullets. And we're upset about it. And you're going to see that our anger is aimed at you, because we want justice and we want decent governing in Franklin County and around the state. Why are you mad at us for being mad at you for being not good servants of the people?
You have violated rules, ordinances, regulations, laws, and we call you out on it. And because we're upset with you, because we've stayed quiet and we've stayed calm and we've stayed respectful, and even through all the humor with all of this and the whole box and everything yesterday, like, so you have to bring some type of humor into it. But even after all of that, like, you don't have a right to get upset with us for calling you out and being disrespectful to you, when all you've done for months upon end is be disrespectful of the people of this county by ignoring them and blatantly saying you don't care what they have to say, and now shutting out their voices. That's making us even more upset. So why, I mean, every action will acquire a reaction.
Yes.
So your actions have now caused this reaction. So let's go back to the basis of the problem. Your corruption, we are now calling it out. And it's not just one thing. It's the lies. It's the deception. Every story. If you go back and watch all of the Elliot Davis interviews with Dave Schatz, I think there's probably 4 or 5 now. You'll see he changes his story. He changes what he says, how he says it. Numbers change, figures change, every single time. And he's told so many lies now that he doesn't even know the lies that he's told. He can't even keep up with the lies.
And he said he hasn't made up his mind yet.
Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah. All right, Dana, you are awesome. I got Tim Baker coming on in a minute, so I got to call Tim. Great to see you. I appreciate all the work that you're doing. I think you're bringing a lot of attention to a very important topic, so I appreciate you. We'll talk again soon. Keep me posted. Anything good happens,
thank
bad,
you
let me know
very
what's going on.
much.
Dana Bowers, everybody. Pacific Root Coalition. Dana Bowers. She is making some noise out there in Franklin County. I absolutely love it, Isaiah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Can you play?
I'm loving it.
Let me, if you don't mind, play clip number 10, and I'll get Tim on the horn, because this is about the AI data centers, and I want people to see it. So this is in Mason County. I believe this is in West Virginia. These are the kind of things that can happen with AI data centers that everybody seems to act like.
We were gonna play his clip before he came on.
Whose clip?
Tim's clip. Yeah.
All right. Well, I got to get Tim on the phone, so you need a little bit longer clip.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna have to call him.
We can do both.
But you want to do both? All right. I'm gonna you play the clip. I'll get Tim on the phone, and then I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Here we go. We'll just
which
roll
one
back.
Which one you want to play? You want to play?
I'm doing the flood first, because I think
flood
that's
first. Okay.
Yeah,
Check
I
this
like
out,
this one
everybody.
too. And then I'll just roll straight into his clip, and then we can bring him on.
Perfect.
Lives. My house was pretty much surrounded by water.
Record levels of flooding coming out of this site. Everything was just engulfed in dust.
And behind me is the ground that's being broken on the very first data center in West Virginia. After I heard about the flooding last weekend, I decided to spend the week here and investigate and just generally communicate the full story of the fight that the Mason County citizens are enduring.
They took all the trees and all the vegetation, and then they moved a lot of dirt and changed the elevation. So when all the rain came, it went right into houses.
So how long have you been at this house?
42 years. Beautiful land, trees, deer. It was
Baker,
a
how are
wonderful
you?
place to be. We didn't deserve this. It's destroyed a lot of lives.
I'm all for jobs. Just the fact that it just shove this stuff on people and not think twice about them.
The fence out back from the construction area was busted open. My house was pretty much surrounded by water, and it was going down the street. went under our house, in our crawl spaces, got in our HVACs. I mean, essentially this company has destroyed our lives.
I said, honey, I said, our backyard is flooded. I said, come in here and look at this. Water's everywhere. And we've been here 30 years. Have never seen a flood until that data plant come in.
What are your thoughts about everything?
I hate it. I wish it had never came here. Nothing but one big problem.
Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been fighting here in Mason County.
This isn't your old mainframe tucked away in the basement. We're talking 3,000-acre campuses consuming the entire power consumption of nations, and it's being built on land that was West Virginia Ordnance Works, so there's a lot of legacy pollution in the area. The DEP still approved the groundwater protection plan permit and allowed construction to begin. And this is one of the old TNT domes, containment for explosives, leftover nitroglycerin, so they had all these concrete bunkers everywhere. This one, a couple years back, kaboom. This is the same site that's being disturbed about a mile that way. A data center's going in. The dirt's being blasted all over an entire neighborhood. Record levels of flooding coming out of this site. If HB 2014 wasn't written the way it was written, we would not have any issues. Preempts local authority. The only people that matter in the eyes of this bill are the people in the State House. None of our zoning matters. There is no restriction on how much noise this can make.
Who did this and when?
25 legislative session. All of us regular taxpayers are going to be footing the bill for everything this data center requires. This piece of garbage is not acceptable.
This is unconstitutional. Why do we need delegates?
It's totally illegal and unconstitutional.
Because of this House Bill 2014, all our rights have been taken away. It's going to have to be repealed and or amended. Otherwise, our communities are going to be destroyed.
We're not illiterate. They're trying to take our voices away from us. West Virginia is not for sale.
So I was getting off work, and as soon as I stepped out of the truck, I could barely breathe. My eyes were burning. Everything was just engulfed in dust. This used to be a super fun site, and they just released it all back in the atmosphere. I struggle with sleep issues and PTSD from my time in the service, and now my house is shaking. I got loud noise going on out here. I have constant night terrors because of it. There's just no sleep or no peace here. They took it all from us.
Of the public comments were going to be misrepresented or not here just by written concept. I've been in office for 8 years. This is the last few months, the largest participation I've seen since I've been in office of public participation. We always talk about nobody from the public comes and talks to any of us, and we all say we have an open policy. I just don't think it's right that this happened. It is our constitutional right to not only question our government, but confront them. And you've taken that right away, with no explanation. Maybe you're going to whenever it gets to commissioner discussion, but in your comments this morning on public forum, you mentioned nothing about why this was taken off. So I can
Tim, if you had been here and participated previously in some of the disruptive behavior and people not adhering to the rules that we have stated in this meeting, of staying on topic and also staying within the time limits. When people ignore those requirements, that is what has led us to this decision in order to bring back some sort of business orderly conduct that is going to occur. When people no longer want to adhere to those policies, that's what's led to this decision.
But as an elected official, we weren't even privy to this, and I have sat through many of these meetings. No, I did not go to the public hearing that you guys had at East Central, but I do come down because I want to know what's going on. As I stated before in meetings, the only way I find out anything and other elected officials is through the paper. So, this was, and my job is as a sunshine request, which we did receive some requests on this. I was completely floored because when I saw the agenda on Thursday, because I was at a conference, so I was not here Thursday if this was discussed, doing my other statutory requirements, that, we should be informed of that. And as the record keeper, the person who answered the sunshine request, I was completely taken back by it. So, like I said, I think it's wrong. The public's not going to get to talk, but as an elected official, I can. And I'm just stating that I think what you guys did was absolutely appalling.
Is Tim Baker. Did you hear that very well, Isaiah? Was it? I know sound was a little low.
It's a little hard because they took away the microphone. So because there's no public comment. So it's hard to hear.
So that was Tim Baker, and we're friendly with Tim Baker. There he is. Tim, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
I just got to ask you real quick, what went down yesterday? It seemed like you were a little bit irritated with the situation. And, I sent you a text yesterday after I saw it, because I think public servants are supposed to, even when the constituents are not happy with you, you got to kind of grin and bear it every now and again and just have conversations with people. I think that's what you were trying to get across. What was your take on, the commission taking away the ability for people to speak? What's your take on it?
Well, as I stated, I was literally completely floored by it because we didn't know anything about it. When I say we, the other elected officials in the building, and I actually learned about it through a sunshine request, because I get an agenda for the work session on Thursdays, and usually that follows suit with the commission or with the meeting on Tuesday. And like I said, I was actually at a conference last week and really didn't see anything until Monday, which was when I came in Monday morning, I saw the stuff from Thursday, because the meeting didn't get posted till almost 10 o'clock, which by law they have 24 hours to post it. And then about 10 minutes after that got posted, which I did not look at the agenda when it happened, I received a sunshine request wanting to know why public participation was taking off and when was that taken care of. And my chief deputy came in and showed me the request, and I think my first reaction was, that can't be right. And I probably said a few other choice words, because it absolutely just appalled me that they did that. Because I even told you, and I've told everybody else, whether I agree or disagree with you, one, we're public servants and we're supposed to listen to the constituents, whether I agree with them or not. And that's their due process. And it's wrong that they even considered that. And we went from about an hour-long meeting the week prior to 8 minutes yesterday. And if, we make pretty good money as elected officials here in this county. And I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it because I want to serve. But if I have to sit in a meeting for 8 hours or 18 hours, that's what I signed up for. And election day, I'm here for almost 20 hours on election day. So, that was what I signed up for. And if you're not willing to serve the people, then you don't need to be here.
Yeah, it's funny, Tim, because you and I have worked together for several times. And one of the interesting things about you in Franklin County is you're respected for people that even disagree with you. That's why I keep trying to say to elected officials, if you talk to people, even if you disagree with them, but if you're compassionate to what they're saying, if you hear them out, if you're a participant in their views, people seem to, now there's going to be some crazy people, no doubt about it, but they tend to be accepting of you. They know that you're hearing their complaints. They understand that you're in the same game with them. That's the way you've always been with me. That's the way you've been. And that's why I think you're so respected in Franklin County. Are you going to run for another post at some point? Do you have a political career in your mind, or is it just day by day and you're the Franklin County clerk right now and that's it? I'm always curious about people like you, because I'd like to see people who see their constituents as having valid disagreements, even if you're on the wrong side of an issue, but hearing them out. I think that is such a big deal. And I like to see people like you rise through the political ranks, but it doesn't, I'm just being honest, Tim, it doesn't seem like people that have your mentality go very far in politics. It's hard. It seems like it's hard to go up the ladder, and it could be just my perception. I'm a little bitter towards some certain things, but do you have political aspirations above and beyond Franklin County clerk?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you remember, I did run for lieutenant governor 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I definitely learned a lot. And I learned that if you're not part of the machine, they don't want nothing to do with you. I literally was at political events where I didn't even get acknowledged as a candidate because I was not part of the system. And I even had other elected officials stand up and say, "Hey, Tim's in the room. Why aren't you acknowledging him?" So that turned a lot of heads. And, I didn't have a lot of money in that race, but I did get almost 10% of the vote because I worked my tail off, and I gained a lot of respect, I think, throughout the state. I also put my name in the hat, as you know, because you interviewed me as well on it, for the presiding commissioner for the presiding spot whenever Tim Brinker resigned. And to be honest, I was the fly in the ointment that kept them from appointing Dave 2 months earlier, because I had so much support on that endeavor. So the question became, why didn't I run for presiding this term when it came up? Because my seat currently came up at the same time. I do love what I'm doing right now. I do believe in the elections, and I know that you and I disagree on certain things of it, but I do everything I can, and I believe in my system that I'm currently using. But the reason I didn't is because of politics, and I truly believe that Sean and a couple of other guys would not have put their name in the hat if I would have ran, but Schatz would have put a patsy up against me, and we would have split the I hate Dave Schatz vote. And I felt at that time, for me, it was better for me to be in office and still stay as a clerk and still fight for people than try to to run for presiding and potentially lose that race because of a third party coming in to mess up the vote count.
Were you trying to get Kehoe's ear when he appointed Dave Schatz? Were you in the mix with that conversation?
Yes, I was in the mix, but Kehoe would never talk to me personally.
That's what I was
one of the people that Kehoe talked about all the time was Dave Sinclair, and he's a personal friend of mine as well. And he even tried to reach out to Kehoe, and he wouldn't get anywhere with him on that. I had numerous people whenever not only did I have the letters that you talked about, there probably was 200 or 300 more that you weren't aware of that went to that committee. I had all of our state reps. Ben Brown actually was the leadership chair of the Central Committee that sanctioned Dave Schatz whenever he was the chair of the Central Committee. I had the support of Denny Hoskins. I had the support of 2 or 3 other state senators, and it was all political. I was a victim of politics because Dave was the pro tem whenever Kehoe was the lieutenant governor.
Why do you think so? Are they personal friends? I just don't know the relationship there, because I was going to ask you this just because I think you understand the political situation out in Franklin County. I didn't understand when it was happening, because that was when I was on the radio, and it was a big deal. Mike Moon was filibustering Dave Schatz, and the whole situation was going on. And I didn't understand. I'm like, well, why does he want Dave Schatz to be the presiding commissioner if the people of Franklin County are so adamant against him? At least like I said, it's a sample. It's 300 letters, but there's a big pushback against Dave Schatz. Do you know that they have a relationship politically? What was your take? I mean, because I'm thinking if I'm in that race and they won't even let me speak, and I'm trying to get information to Kehoe to say, hey, I might be a better person for this gig, and he wants nothing to do with it because he's got his mind made up that it's Dave Schatz. Do you understand those connections? Are they old friends? I mean, how did you see it?
I take it as they're old friends, but I'm also going to, my personal opinion is that Dave was put there for a reason, and I think we just found out what the reason was.
Boy, you just hit it right on the head. That's what I was going to ask you. I didn't want to put you under the gun, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
No, because in all honesty, Kehoe did not carry Franklin County in his governor's race. I was in the pack, if you will, with the people that were running against him, and we were with Denny and Bill and Lloyd Rook. And so I got, I took it as, honestly, if I'm going to lay all my cards on the table, Rob, I took it as he gave Franklin County a middle finger.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting too, because, I think you are a really good dude. I've just always had a good feeling about you. I remember when Isaiah, he called me up one day after he met you, and you guys had some meeting. And I said, what'd you think of Tim? He goes, I liked him a lot. And I said, yeah, I did too. I said, he's just got this way about him where you behave, in my opinion, and we worked together several times, Tim, you behave like a public servant. And I see other people behave like they're kind of kings or like a little bit above the public. And I just don't like it. It always rubs me the wrong way. So I appreciate you. I appreciate how well you work with the community. If we can help you on this show or help you with anything that you're doing politically, you let us know. We'll be there for you.
Well, I will just share that in 30, I will not be running for clerk, but I don't know what I'm going to be doing.
Let me know what you're running for. If we can help you, if we can organize people, if we could raise money for you, I would like to see you move forward. So if you're going to be in the political arena, make sure you let us know.
I will. I appreciate that.
You got it, brother. Tim Baker, everybody have a great day, sir.
You too. Thank you.
Right on. What a good dude, man. I really like him.
Great guy.
What's your take on Tim? Because you met him right off the bat, didn't you, Isaiah, when you were running?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that was a recommendation to go, and just from people in the, political sphere said, hey, you should definitely go meet Tim Baker. He's the county clerk. He's in charge of the elections, and so he'll be verifying your election, right, Isaiah?
I believe he runs clean elections. I do. I believe he runs clean elections. My point isn't with Tim.
Yeah.
My point is if Tim were a charlatan, which he's saying basically there's some political things going on behind the scenes. I think that if you are a charlatan, you can manipulate the machines, right? I do believe that's possible. I don't think that Tim is doing it, but I think the idea that it's possible makes me very nervous. That's the whole thing.
It's not the machines that are doing it. That's what people don't realize. They're like, you don't want to be, don't over analyze the machines. No, it's the people that are over the machines and controlling the machines that
it makes it easier to steal on an industrial scale, if you will. It allows you to steal lots of votes versus one or two. Like if they're all hand counted, there's going to be cheating no matter what, Isaiah. You got two political parties that don't like each other, blah, blah, blah. There's going to be cheating involved. Especially
let's just pull out a bin of ballots here. Let's just start counting these now, right?
It's possible to cheat. I think it's just the machines in the big counties make it easier to cheat. And then, just like all these other politics and these political situations, if I want to groom somebody to be an election clerk because I want to steal elections, and this person might have a background in IT, this person might have a background that's a little bit shady, I can fund that person into that position, and then they control one of the major counties. I think that is doable. I think it's possible. I think it was proven out in 2020 that there was malfeasance between the machines and the people. And, as far as I'm concerned, I just like to eliminate it. But I don't think Tim, and I don't think the people of Franklin County think Tim is doing anything nefarious either. That's the whole point.
No, I think that what you said about Tim hit the nail on the head. Is he is what a politician is designed to be.
That's right.
Which is a voice for the people, not to the people. And
Isaiah, when we went out there to do his demonstration with his tabulators, what was interesting about it is we asked everybody to do it. It wasn't just Tim. Yeah. We asked a half a dozen, if not more, county clerks around the state of Missouri to do that tabulator demonstration for us. Yeah. He was the only one that said yes, and he did it kindly. He was a gentleman about it. And I keep saying to people, and the people on my side actually liked him. So it's not like we don't like him, right? People's Lobby in Missouri is against machines in elections. We make no bones about that. But we like Tim because Tim is willing to work with us.
Yes.
To give us a forum to participate. And he's gained a ton.
It's a great example of anyone who's going to attack you for saying that they can't come on your show because you disagree with them. So you're going to blow up or something like that. Right. Did that just happen because you don't agree with Tim with about machines?
Isaiah.
Just had to say it.
It's almost 6 years now. I've never done that. I will never do that. Anybody that wants to have a conversation, I'm willing to have it. Now,
come on, you Floridian.
Exactly. Now, if I was going to say, it's a little different story if you come in and you want to start a fight. I'll show up for you if you want to start a fight. But if it's just a conversation about a disagreement and policy, I'm going to be as kind to you as I possibly can be, because I think those conversations are necessary. I think they are necessary. Not that we just want to have them. I think they are necessary to keep our republic, because as soon as you can get into a situation with social media and corporate press to where we can shout at each other through the forum, but not at each other, that's when everything breaks apart. Because that's what Kirk Hilsinger is doing. Right? That's why I got upset with Kirk Hilsinger yesterday, and I apologize. I felt bad about that all day yesterday. I don't like losing my temper like that. It happened right before the show, Isaiah. I didn't have time.
It shows that you're human, though. It's okay.
I didn't have time to calm down.
Yeah.
But what bothered me about it is he did it the exact same thing last night. So he made a statement, and I'm talking about data centers on social media with Kirk Hilsinger, right? That's kind of what I think of Kirk Hilsinger for. He sees himself as Republican agenda. I was just talking about data centers, but at the end of a conversation we were having on social media, he basically says, "You guys are for this. You guys, I don't know who you guys are. It wasn't on People's Lobby. It was on my thing." Yeah. And then he goes, "The Democrats are for this. You're for this. Democrats are for this. You're for this." I said, "I've never made any commentary on any of those things. What are you?" But then he blocked me. You see what I mean? So he makes the statement and then goes.
Yeah.
And these are the people that I think should not be in politics. I think it's just a very deceptive way to go about politics. It shows that you don't have much of an argument. It shows that you understand how to conflate issues to confuse people that are looking on. These are all tactics that I believe that charlatans use, and charlatans should not be governing people. They should not be involved in the political process. You need to rid yourselves of them. You need to ignore them. You need to push them aside. You need to shun them.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you should do. You should shun people that are trying to get over on you and mislead you with false accusations and false information. And if anybody wants to talk to you, then you invite them in for the conversation. Fair enough?
Yep. ECS Roofing?
ECS Roofing. I like how you keep me on schedule now. You're getting better and better and better.
I'm trying to learn every day, right?
Roofing. Bring up ECS Roofing and my man, Larry Evans. I think he's getting into...
Did the hail dance work? Did the hail dance work, Larry?
Definitely getting into the season, if you will. Right.
Yeah,
so I'm sure he's going to be doing some roof work. I saw a billboard when I was coming back with Jake Jackson. I went to Jefferson City, and on the way back, I saw one of his billboards. So I sent a picture and I sent it to him. I go, "Look at you. You're everywhere. You're on the Rob Carter Show. You're on billboards all along Highway 70. Look at you go." ECS Roofing and Exteriors. There is my man, Larry Evans. Roofing is their deal, but they are a contractor for the Rob Carter Show. So anybody that listens on a daily basis, people that are appreciative of what we're trying to get accomplished, if you need a new roof, siding, decks, gutters, garage doors, custom exterior metal, it doesn't matter if it's residential or commercial. He likes to work on both sides. New construction, storm damage. He gives free licensed inspection. So if you think, honey, our roof is 22 years old. It's leaking in the kids' room down here. We got some leakage going on in the dining room. We probably should look at getting a new roof, right? He can come out and tell you whether the insurance companies are going to work with you. That's a big deal because a lot of these people will come out and they'll get you involved in the game, but they don't have any idea whether the insurance companies are going to work. He is a licensed independent adjuster. So when he comes to your home and says, "Oh yeah, this is definitely storm damage. This happened from the hail. This happened from the wind damage. You got a claim here. These insurance companies are going to work with you." He knows. He's been in business for 30 years. He's an honest person. He wouldn't be dealing with us if he wasn't an honest person because you know how we are. Isaiah, we're a little temperamental on this. We like to work with good people.
We like transparency.
Good businesses, right? Good businesses that we can be proud of. If we tell you to go do business with somebody, we have to stand behind it. It only happened to me once, Isaiah. I talk about it all the time. One time I was promoting a business because I was just new to radio. I wanted an advertiser. I was just starting out. I had Mike Sloan from who I've talked about many times with the packaging business. He was my first. And then this other one came about, and I'm not even saying he was a bad person, but he wasn't doing business the way I would want him to do business as a representative of the show. And, I said, you know what? I'll never do that again. I want to talk to people. I want to look them eyeball to eyeball. I want to have a sense of them. I want to get a feel for whether they're good businesses or not. And I like ECS Roofing. So we settled on ECS Roofing. Again, this is an email he sent me afterwards. It says, "Rob, just a thought. One other area in my business other than storms is retail and new construction. I love the retail and new construction side of the business. We run on low overhead so we can pass the savings to our clients. Our prices cannot be beat. Even with that, we offer a Class 3 shingle, ridge vent, and a complete installation guarantee, and a 5-year workmanship warranty on top of the manufacturer's warranty. It's about as good as you can get." This is my man, Larry Evans, ECS Roofing and Exteriors. You can check them out on Facebook. Look at their work, ECS Roofing, or you can reach out to them at 314-486-3567. 314-486-3567. If you have roofing or contracting needs, ECS Roofing and Exteriors. I think Jones Water sold some water purifiers yesterday after that show we had on. You had Andy Pichek saying, "Look at the water down here." It's the perfect time to bring out. I was right in the middle of an interview. I said,
JonesWater.com.
My man, Everett Jones, JonesWater.com, 636-899-1040. Again, you'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter, JonesWater.com. I say to everybody in my life, if you don't have clean air and clean water in your home or business, you're eventually going to be ill, and you should not be getting ill from nasty water and nasty air. You don't have to do it. Everett did a little experiment in my home. He came to my dad's condo. He set up the air purifier. He sticks this little meter in it, Isaiah. And as the air is going in, he's going, "Look at this air." And it's got numbers just rolling, how nasty the air is. And then he takes that same meter and he puts it where the air is coming out, and it was 0. He said, "This is taking every toxin out of the air, all of the dust, all of the funk, all of the mold, everything that's in your house that's going into this filter. It's coming out fresh and clean." Love it. And the water purifiers, I think everybody knows they can't drink water out of the faucet anymore. If you're drinking water out of the faucet at this point in your life, I just can't even imagine drinking water out of a fountain anymore. I know what goes into the water. And
this is the air filter you're talking about, right?
The that's the one that's in Helen Gelhart's office. That's the one that's there. Yep. The Healthway Deluxe Air Purification System. You'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter, JonesWater.com. If you want to do business with Everett, now this is a local business. So this is the St. Charles County area. So if you want to do business with Everett, St. Charles County, Lincoln, Franklin, Warren, St. Louis, and Jefferson. If you're doing business on the Illinois side, Madison, Monroe, Jersey, and St. Clair. Been around since 1995. This is not a fly-by-night business. This is his life. JonesWater.com. Again, since 1995. 636-899-1040. You'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter. JonesWater.com. Then my man, Gary Schneider with GraceHauling.com. 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 My man, Larry Schneider, and his lovely wife, Karen, been in business since 19.
Gary Schneider.
What I say, Larry?
Larry. We got Gary, Larry.
I did that yesterday too, didn't I? Didn't I do it yesterday?
I think, yeah. It's like,
remember I said you say things
until we get a Terry. Once we get a Terry, it's over.
I said you say things, you're on the air for 3 hours, and you say things, and you listen back, go, "I can't believe I did that." I said,
I know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Gary and Karen Schneider. I was still thinking about Larry from ECS. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. You're going to see trucks and dumpsters and trash cans all over the St. Charles County area because he does great business. Outstanding customer service. That's where they pride themselves. Competitive pricing. Just a great, great team, great family, great business. Commercial businesses, 2, 4, 6, and 8-yard dumpsters. If you are a residential customer, trash, recyclables, yard waste, and bulk pickups. When you're moving, you have somebody that needs to pick up a freezer or a washer and dryer or anything that's just oversized, bulk pickups, think gracehauling.com. Gracehauling.com. One more time for the people in back, gracehauling.com. All right. Let me get, I want to play this video, Isaiah, because I think this is really good. Now, this is Dave Schatz. And again, I don't know Dave Schatz. Hard for me to be anti-Dave Schatz because I've never had a man-to-man conversation with the guy. So he may be a really good dude. I think he's looking at the world wrong. She was, a lot of people think he's on the take with Kehoe, and they have, I don't want to say nefarious motives, but they have self-interest motives. I don't know that. So I don't want to go there because I just don't know the guy well enough. But I think it's fascinating, the situation, the way it laid out, right? You have Mike Moon filibustering, and it's not even his county. He's filibustering because nobody else would do it.
Mhm.
We have Mike Moon filibustering the appointment of Dave Schatz in Franklin County, right? Then you have the AI data center situation come up. The town doesn't want it. You knocked on doors, Isaiah.
Yeah, look at this. Sorry, I'm covering your face, but
Go
look at
ahead.
this. Kirk Hilsinger would travel from the city to Festus to shill for data centers at their council meetings. Sunshine Request exposed the head of the community college soliciting one of her employees to go speak at Festus meetings in favor of data centers. She had to get a copy of the presentation so the person had talking points. AstroTurfing is a real thing and unethical.
That's preservation
Wow.
of Jefferson County. Will you put up our
Yeah.
email? Would you get a hold of me? I'd like
And
to
then this, look at this. Sunshine Request exposed text messages that said Kehoe wanted to nudge any Festus council members who are not sure about voting for the data centers.
Okay, whoever this person is, if you can get
Reach
a hold
out.
of me, I'd like to talk to you because this is where we get out information to the public, which I think is very necessary because we don't have a real press. The Robb Show host at gmail.com. Just reach out to us
Or
if you would.
you can text
You can text me.
314-322 Robb.
Yep, you can text me if you would like. But I'd love to talk to you. If you want to go off the record, that's fine too. I just like to gain information so I have a better understanding of what's going on. If you want to come on the record and tell us what you know, that'd be fantastic as well. But we like to get information out to the public, right? Ultimately, and we haven't really been, I don't know if we've been doing it as much, Isaiah, but once we get the video editor in the middle of June, we are going to put clips. We'll put the clip of the conversation with Tim Baker. We'll put the clip with Dana Bowers. We'll put the clip about what's going on in Missouri politics. We'll drive that and we'll pay for it, right? We'll pay for the advertising on Facebook so that we can take care of our advertisers. But at the same time, you get local information goes to Facebook. You get national information that goes to X. You get national information and local information on Rumble. By the way, Rumble, when I was at News Talk, I think I told you this, right? I think a lot of those people that used to listen to, I think that's got to be a local listening audience on Rumble. I'd be curious if you can make a comment, if you're listening on Rumble, because we're getting a decent sized audience on Rumble already without any promotion whatsoever. But if you are a Rumble listener, if you're on rumble.com and you're listening, will you let me know if it's local or if you are outside of the Missouri area? I'd be curious to know. Because
How long were you at News Talk?
I think maybe 6 or 8 months I was at News Talk. And what was funny about News Talk, Isaiah, is I would go to Rumble because somebody said they were listening to me on Rumble. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know we were on Rumble. So I go on Rumble, and the first time I look at it, I had like 12 or 1,300 people listening. It was a couple days after, and I went and looked at it. And that's kind of where the numbers are at now. You get 1,000, 1,500 people that listen on a Rumble on a daily basis without any promotion whatsoever, which I think is amazing.
We're getting so.
But I noticed somebody else
put in perspective too here how much better we're doing now. So looking at the numbers, because this is your Rumble channel from when you were at News Talk as well.
Yep.
And so I can look at how many views have we gotten versus how many views did you have before we started. And so you had about 15,000 total views from News Talk the entire time you were there. We have 53,000 views already on Rumble.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
At the end, when people started to get hip to what was going on with Rumble, I started to get anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. I was getting toward the end of my run when I was at News Talk. And what I thought was so interesting about it is the other hosts on the show were getting, I think I told you before, 10, 15, 20. And I'm getting 1,000 to 1,500. I'm like,
that's what I texted you about X. You remember that when I was telling you about X when you're on Real Talk? I said, oh my gosh, Rob, look at you. You're getting, no one gets this.
Well, it wasn't much. I was getting 200 or 300, I think, or something like that. And everybody else was getting, But what was odd about this was I was thinking, well, this has to be a local audience. How would people even know where to find me? I'm talking about local politics on Rumble, and it's working. People are paying attention to it. I can't wait till we can advertise. The reason I say that is in the middle of June. We've hired somebody to do the clipping of the show. Right now, we do a little bit of it. Isaiah is just overwhelmed, and poor Isaiah doesn't make enough money to work 24 hours a day, but he's trying to produce the show. He's trying to be a co-host on the show. He's trying to find information and content for the show. He's trying to book guests. He's trying to do edits. He's doing everything. It's insane. So
donate to the link in the chat.
Very nice, Isaiah. Very nice. But when this guy comes in the middle of the month and we have the website up, that is really, I thought we'd be able to, in my mind, I was thinking we could do this quicker, but I just didn't realize.
You want to show the people the mock-up?
Yeah. You want to show them the mock-up? Then we got to get to Elliot Davis. Don't let me forget about
No worries. Yeah, we got 30 minutes, thankfully, and I don't have to jet out of here today. Like yesterday, we just had all the errands we had to run and head downtown. It was just a crazy day.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get some feedback from people. I want to tell them what I'm thinking and see if they think I'm right. Maybe they have a different opinion.
Oh, we need your feedback if you're listening.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the mock-up of the new Robb. So this would be the Robb Carter show.
A lot of the pictures will be different. Like this background picture is probably already going to be different. Is what he's already told us, the web designer. These are just a lot of placeholders, but the structure is more what we're looking at.
And he built this from scratch, right? He didn't even use any of these. So he's building this with his own coding.
Yep. So we'll have a place where you can go for recent episodes. We'll have all the places where you can follow us, a little about us page. Most important picture is of Isaiah, me right there.
That's very cool. I like it.
And this is when we were at Jeff City.
Yeah.
And then merch coming soon. Look at that cool t-shirt he made.
We got merchandise coming.
Yep. So
look at you looking good with the suit.
Oh yeah, nice. That was the campaign shot.
I need a new headshot, and I got to do it. I was telling Isaiah before the show started. I'm taking this medicine. My face is so dry. I keep looking at the screen, and I feel a little blotchy. It's aggravating me very much. I'm very vain, Isaiah.
Yeah. So what's going to be able to happen is that the most recent live stream
little device
right here.
Any room in your home ice cold
this is yesterday's
all summer
video.
long,
Sorry,
even during
guys,
heat waves and blackouts.
for the ads. But essentially, it'll auto update.
Can we do commercials for advertisers on some of the spots in here? Can we have a place for advertisers? Or
that's what I have already. So right up here at the top, I'm gonna have a banner that will start doing some advertising for our advertisers right here. Perfect. So you'll see. At first, you might see a People's Lobby banner up there first, just for a little while, and then we'll start working because we got to get the specific graphics for the right sizes and everything made for all the other advertisers. They might already have them,
we do need a and I don't know if I want to call it advertisers or sponsors. Supporters, advertising and support group, something of that nature, and then list everybody that's supporting the show, because we have some people that support the show that we don't even advertise for.
100%.
The community has been so great to us. It's just almost overwhelming.
And then for Robb, this is for Robb, and for all my folks who don't like to watch video, we are implementing a listen button here, so you can just listen only audio. So,
which is that's better than the app, because we got Jen, who's one of the listeners, and she said, I think you should get an app. She actually said, do you need money for the app? And I said, well, hang on, Isaiah doesn't think we need it. So you just go to therobbcartershow.com. You go to the listen live, and you can listen to the show live right then and there, which will make it a lot easier for people.
Oh my gosh, John's
my buddy. He's a scorned golfer. This is the guy that I tell you all the time that I've been beating him at golf for so long. You think the guy would quit trying, but he won't do it. He just keeps
coming back for more.
Coming back for more, man. I think he's like 71 years old right now. And I just said, dude, you're just the age, I'm stronger than you. You're not going to be able to handle me anymore. And he just, he won't listen. Isaiah.
Now watch this drive.
No, wait a minute. I got that. I got that one for you too. Check it out. That is, I messed up my one earlier. I'm so bad at this.
Yep.
Something else I didn't want to say. The terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Still one of my favorite ones of all time.
Now watch this drive.
Right? Like GW. You had to like GW. I like
he was very charismatic. That's one thing I'll say. That's one thing about Obama too. Not all politicians, I feel not all politicians are charismatic. But there's sometimes when you just are kind of just hey, I'm just bumbling around here and I'm just George W. You know what I mean?
Everybody felt like they could relate to GW.
Yeah.
You know, I got
fool
buddies.
me once, shame on you.
Yeah, fool me twice. Just don't be fooling me. Do you? I got some buddies that know him. I told you the story.
No, I do know. I do know that Scott was playing. I think horseshoes with his father. Yeah.
Yeah. So my buddy Scott that played for the Cardinals, he went up with Roger Clemens, the famed Hall of Fame. Well, he's not a Hall of Famer because of the steroids, but one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Roger Clemens, and my buddy Scott went up to meet with G.H.W. Bush and played horseshoes. That's what Isaiah's referring to. Now, my other buddies, I got a friend of mine who owns some hotels up in Kennebunkport, Maine, and that's where G.H.W. Bush has their compound out there. So he is a member at the same club as my friends. So when I was talking, they know that I'm into politics. So they send me pictures of them playing golf and hanging out and stuff all the time. I should put some of those pictures up one of these days. But they claim that he is just the greatest. They love him. He's funny, nice, affable, the whole thing. President-wise, like I said, I don't know that he had any choice. I think they sell what they're supposed to sell. I really do.
I think Dick Cheney was in charge.
Well, I can't get mad at him too much. The only reason I'm mad at Trump is because he sold me so well that I really believed everything that he was saying. And now I'm looking at it going, I don't know that he has as much power as he.
The other thing about George is that you already knew George was a part of the system.
Correct.
So
right. and Core and all of them.
Yeah. And Trump just claimed not to be a part of that system. I don't want to derail any further, but just wanted to also let people know, because we do have some contributors for the website who will be writing articles, and we'll have daily writings of, news articles and things like that we're going to try to get on the website too. We're trying to build a news media organization, essentially, is the end goal, right, Rob?
Yes.
And so bringing in more contributors is one of the things we want to do, where not only written contributors, but hopefully we can be streaming for 12 hours a day, and we have other people on here talking, right?
If everybody wants to know the goal, now this is going to take time. This might take us as much as 5 years.
Me and Rob see 100 years in the future, though. That's what
we look out and see what could be, and then we try to make it happen, right? So we think that we need independent journalists to be the driver of information. We think that corporate news is going to die. We think that people that are watching Fox News, I think that generation is about to die out. I really do. I think that if you're everyday Fox News, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I shouldn't have said
No, it's just that's right now. There's more registered millennials and Gen Z voters than there are baby boomers. They just turn out more. So.
I think the younger generation is just exhausted by Fox News, and I think they will step away from Fox News. I think that most conservatives and libertarians don't really pay attention to CNN. Now, like, if there's a big news story, you want to go see it at CNN or Fox News, but I believe that independent journalism, and it won't be just us. I think you'll see this pop out everywhere. We'll have to compete with all of the independent journalists that are popping up all over the country, right? Jeff,
we already got you on the list.
You're already in, brother. But what we want to do is we want to have 24 hours of independent sourced news, and that means you'll have people around the country. So if something's going on in California, you'll have somebody who's doing a show from California who knows the local officials and can talk to the local officials. You'll have somebody from Washington D.C. that's doing a show on our channel, and you'll get to hear from people that are in Washington D.C., Florida, Missouri, everywhere, and you'll get 24 hours of live programming. That's what we want to have happen with people that are outside of the traditional system, right? Just outside, real journalists.
Alternative media.
I'd love for Elliot Davis to be a part of that, to be honest with you. I want to see people that give real information. They're not encumbered by, I can't say this because I'm going to upset somebody in the Republican Party, or I can't say this because it's going to get me in trouble with this group of people. Just unfiltered information. Do what you want with it, but you'll have real news for the first time. I don't even know when the last time we've had an opportunity to have free press.
Pre-Smith Modernization Act, probably.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's. I just mentioned Elliot Davis. Can we get to him?
That's what I was going to remind you about him.
And I just want to say this. So I went to Bible study. I have a buddy, Kevin, who takes me to Bible study when it's out in Florissant, Missouri, when I come to town. I haven't went. He probably thinks I don't like him because I got so busy with the new show I haven't talked to people in my life that I should be talking to in quite some time, and he's one of them. But I go to Bible study with him, and we show up one time, and Elliot Davis is in the Bible study with us. I got to talk to Elliot just a little bit, and I've always been a fan of his work because I like investigative journalism. It's just something that I've always been it's just something I always aspired to do, was to get into the middle of big stories, try to bring resolution and truth to stories, because I think most of the press is not telling the whole truth. So when I see
I like standing up for people, because
me too.
People just, I feel like sometimes people are just it's like we were talking about the IRS thing, right? People just are afraid
Right.
What are the repercussions that
My
come?
wife's one of them. I told my wife, I said, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't pay income taxes. I would just not pay it. And if they come knock on my door, take me to jail. I don't owe you money. I don't want to contribute to your war system. I don't want to contribute to
Well,
the
you live in
lies.
Florida, so you're okay. They can't seize your assets anyways.
Is that true?
That's why OJ moved there.
Well, I don't know if the federal government can, though. That was a civil suit.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, that was a civil suit. He got busted for it.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do. If you could, I'll just say this, Isaiah. Can I just say this without offending people? We'll make it happen. I hate to be cocky and confident, but we'll make it happen. We have a lot of supporters. We have a lot of people that are rooting for us. We are going to get to the finish line. We are going to do everything we can while we still have breath on this earth to change the way news is presented to people. I disagree with it vehemently. It makes me sick to watch it. It does. I get very frustrated watching it. I understand why people believe what they believe. I think the vast majority of it is misinformation. Ideological information is shoved down people's throat. They have to disagree with the Democrats, everything they say. They have to disagree with the Republicans, everything they say. And it just gets to where you're not happy in the world anymore. It's not a harmonious world. Now, we're going to have disagreements all the time, but this world did not used to be this way. We're moving in a direction to where nobody can be happy anymore. In my opinion, I just think that's what's going down. You can feign happiness on your Facebook post and, show pictures of the food that you're eating that night. And, everybody's smiling and happy and everything's great. But in reality, most people are suffering from some form of illness post-COVID, big time. A lot of people are sick. A lot of people in my life are sick. A lot of people around the country are sick. A lot of people that I know have been ill since COVID. So you got that going down. You have families that broke up post-COVID, right? So families are all split up now. You got coworkers that are all split up now, and everything you see on television is either Democrat or Republican. So you're fighting with people that you normally wouldn't fight with because they might not agree with every word that or every thought that you have. And I think that has to change. So we will get it done. Just remember, I told you, we will get it done. You're involved in the first step of something that will be much bigger over time. Let's do Elliot Davis.
Yep.
So Elliot Davis, after the event in Washington, Missouri yesterday, Franklin County, after it was over, Elliot Davis talks to the presiding commissioner. We've been talking about him a lot lately, Dave Schatz. And again, I don't know Dave Schatz. I hate to say negative things about people I don't know. I don't know him. I'm very skeptical of the way he became the presiding commissioner. So I am skeptical, I must admit. Here is his conversation. Now, what he did was he would not allow the people in Franklin County to speak at a committee meeting because he said they had been rowdy. He was really talking about Dana, the lady that was on earlier. I think he was really aimed at Dana. And then Elliot Davis gets Dave Schatz after this meeting, after he did not allow people to speak. And Elliot Davis, I think, did a very professional job of asking questions of the presiding commissioner of Franklin County, Dave Schatz. Here's how it sounded. You're going to have to pause every now and again, Isaiah, because I got some comments I want to make. Here is Elliot Davis.
Presiding commissioner, Franklin County presiding commissioner.
Sure.
What happened? You guys denied citizens the right to come and talk in person?
No, well, again, obviously we didn't deny them. We give them an opportunity to present written testimony to the hearing. We had some people, we've had a few bad actors that obviously do not want to obey the requirements and the rules that we've set forth. And so when you have people that are being disruptive, I'm trying to keep this in some sort of orderly conduct and conduct our business in an orderly way. And the only way I felt it was necessary to do it was to be able to do that. So that way, when someone gets to a microphone and refuses to sit down, what do? You have to take away the microphone.
Well, you can put that on one person out.
You can, but here's
Elliot,
but here's the thing. In order to do that, that's exactly what they want. They want to make a spectacle. They're out there with their cameras. They're videoing all this stuff, and nothing more would they like or entertain in order to be able to take it out. But if someone's going to be taken out by law enforcement, there's going to be charges for that. They're not going to take that individual out, but they are breaking and violating laws, and so we're just trying to avoid that. We're trying to bring.
Can you pause that right there, Isaiah? Did you understand that at all?
Yeah, well, the thing is that
he said they're going to take people out. Then he said they're not going to take people out. I don't.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to take people out, according to Dana. She said she's talked to whoever would make the decision, the sheriff's office.
Yeah, the sheriff's office denied. He already tried to get them to. I think King Cox might have tried to get a deputy to get someone out, and the deputy told him, said, "No, sorry, I don't have the authority to do that."
So what was he trying to get at there? Because he said if they take you out, you're going to be charged. And he said, but they're not going to take you out, right?
I think that's what he's saying, is that there would have to be some type of criminal charges, but that's not gonna happen. And so that's why he had to do. He didn't say that, but I'm guessing that's what he's thinking. He's like, okay, I know I can't get the sheriff to get on my side to get these people out. So you know what I'm gonna do? I have to do this to shut these people up because they keep bothering me.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's my understanding.
That makes sense to me. Dave Schatz, presiding commissioner, Franklin County, after he would not allow people to speak at a meeting. This is the interview with Elliot Davis. Go.
So by just saying, hey, we're gonna pull back, we're gonna have written testimony, and let's do this in a little more calm and orderly fashion. And so that was the best way I felt to handle I don't want to get into an altercation where someone has to be removed and charged for with some statutorily violation.
Was this just a temporary one-day measure?
I don't know if it's temporary one day.
Are you guys going to let them speak next week?
I think
considering how important this is. This data center issue has been going on for months and months. Yeah. People are obviously always pumped up. It's very emotional.
I understand. Listen, we're available to speak with these individuals. I'm not running away from not talking to them at all. But again, in order for us to be able to conduct an orderly meeting and conduct the people's business in Franklin County, this was steps that was necessary because obviously we had several people, not several, but a few people that were unwilling to follow the rules and obey the things that we had put in place, and that's what made us kind of go down this path. In order to do it, like I said, bring the temperature down and try for us to be able to move through this stuff. There'll be a point in time when we go back to where people can make public comment. We're not trying to restrict that. That's for sure not what we're trying to do.
This certainly is the time, though, that you need public comments where you have an issue.
That's right, Elliot.
Once this issue is over, you're probably not going to have the crowds that you have right now.
Elliot, but the majority of these people that are here, and I'm not saying that they're not bringing new information, but
that's exactly what Tim Baker said. And I know it's hard to hear because they didn't have a microphone for them to talk to the commissioners because they were not going to let people talk. But that's what he said is that, what are you talking about? You guys complain that no one comes to these meetings. That's what we're always talking about. Now all these people are here and you don't want them to talk. What's the deal?
What's that tell you?
But
they play politics.
Do they really want you to talk?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're playing politics with it, right? Because it's like the voters, right? If the voters vote against something, right? They say they were misinformed, right? Or if they lose, they say they didn't show up. They always couch the political argument based on their own personal interest, right? So if you say that, these things are happening because nobody shows up at the meetings. And then when something you want to stop from happening, you show up and you get loud. They go, you're being too loud. We can't let you speak.
Yeah.
It's a little bit disingenuous to say the least. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
We've heard from these people, on a continual basis. They're here, they come, every week they're here, they're testifying, but they're not bringing anything new.
What does that have to do with anything?
Sometimes they're throwing innuendos, accusations, and those things coming before the commission.
If I want to say the same thing every time I go up, I should be able to say the same thing, right, Rob?
So again, it's not the good actors that we're dealing with. It's obviously the bad actors that have taken advantage of this and using it for their own platform.
When are you guys going to make a decision?
You hear the labeling?
Yes.
I don't know, Elliot. I really don't have an answer for that. I don't know it's not something
on
that's
this data center.
It's not something that we have on the horizon. Obviously, we're continuing to evaluate, take in information, and we're going to continue to do our due diligence. And so when we get through that point, again, all of this, and again, these people don't know good, bad, or indifferent if we're going to vote yes, vote no, whatever. They have no clue. They just have assumptions. They've made a lot of assumptions. But I can tell you before, it's 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance. I could flip a coin right now. I don't know which way it's going to come down.
Can you pause it right there?
Which way?
Isaiah, do you think it's 50-50?
No.
I don't think Dana Bowers thinks it's 50-50 either.
If it was 50-50, wouldn't you let every single person speak every single meeting as long as you would let them go for as long as they needed to so that you could get all of the information from the people and the constituents that you represent so you can make a decision for your constituents?
Right. And why would you be bothered if the people were making accusations if you were leaning toward voting against or even thought it was 50-50 or voting against?
That's what
You'd only be irritated if the person was really calling you out and you knew that you were going to have to vote for this eventually. And then you're going to be exposed because
or otherwise you'd be like, no, I don't support this. What are you talking about?
I don't even know if I'm supporting it. What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
Yeah. That's what I thought was crazy about the Roger Jackson thing that I was telling you about this morning. The vice chair of the Franklin County, right? I was like, he said I have data center derangement syndrome, DCDS, right? But I was talking to Tammy yesterday. I said, Tammy, the funny thing is he doesn't even know that I'm more pro data center than he even knows or even thinks, because we've talked on the show. Hey, if they could fix all these things, we would have a different conversation, but they're not fixing them. Right?
Well, along with data centers has to come protections.
Yes.
It's that simple. You know, Dana Bauer said, you know, if it's not surveillance, well, if it's surveillance at some level, what are the protections?
Exactly.
I don't care if you're surveilling if you can't act on it.
That's what we're asking for. We're not asking unreasonable things.
Well, it's like the lady that came to her home. You know, is that what we want flock cameras for? So you can have 7 police officers invade a family's home and then the flock camera had it wrong?
We use it properly. That's what was that guy's name from
that was
St.
Jason
Charles
Law.
County?
I like
Yeah, we
Jason
use
Law.
it properly. We use it properly in St. Charles County.
Right,
And then
continue.
O'Fallon, which is in St. Charles County.
He starts to get going here with stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, listen to this guy go, because he gets into the China stuff toward the end of this. Go ahead and roll with this.
Oh, no way.
And Dave Schatz, presiding commissioner of the county.
Well,
You seem like when I talk to you,
I have told you.
when I talk
I have
to you-
told you
go ahead,
multiple
go ahead,
times.
go ahead.
I have told you multiple times. I said you can't ignore the financial impact of what this brings to the county. So that has to be something that we take seriously and take a serious look at. So it's like that is something that, again, whether you think that's favorable.
Expand on that.
Well, again, the tax revenue. I met
Pause
with
it.
the school superintendents yesterday.
Okay, now this is something that always catches my ear. Tax revenue. Everything is about tax revenue. Well, who gets the tax revenue? Who allocates the tax revenue? Who makes determinations on where the tax revenue goes? All right, it's always about tax revenue. That was the deal with the Chiefs and the Royals, Isaiah, when that fight was going on. And they kept going, oh, it's going to bring so much, we can't lose the Royals and the Chiefs because of all the tax revenue we get. So we're going to give them $1 billion of taxpayer money so that we can get more tax revenue in. I mean, it's just they weren't going to have to pay the taxes, which everybody else had to pay. Again, I'm curious, as an elected official, does this become a part of the way you look at the world? You get a piece of paper on here and it says, okay, here's how much the tax revenue is coming in. We need to fix this body of water. This school needs repairs, so we need to bring in more money. How does it work? Because I would not think that tax revenue would be the biggest thing on my mind. If I was going to put a data center that was going to destroy my community, if it was going to just be ugly at the very least, right? They're just ugly to look at versus farmland and green trees and the whole thing. What is how does it work, Isaiah, when you get into government? What's the scoop on tax revenue? Because that seems to be everybody's biggest thing, is how much revenue they can bring in from taxes.
Yeah, that's a big problem here in St. Clair is economic growth, bringing in tax revenue. We don't have enough money to cover the things that we need for the city. And one of the things that I was running on is economic development, but I actually reworded my talking point to smart economic development because of that exact reason. I think that people hear economic development and they think revenue at any costs, at all costs, essentially, right? How can we get revenue for the city and disregard the citizens? When I think what has actually happened in St. Clair's instance, I'm not sure at the Franklin County level. I don't know. I can't say this, but I know at the St. Clair level, the economic development has not been smart since the 80s. They've just basically ceased any economic development. And it was a big, as the boys club here in the city that was running the town. And because of them keeping businesses that would have helped the citizens, actually, like I know people don't like Walmart, but everyone in the town wants a Walmart here. Everyone I talk to, because they have to leave the city to buy socks. And so, I know that not everyone loves Walmart, but the people want a Walmart or something that's like Walmart, right?
If they want it, they get it.
So the boys club kept that out, didn't get Walmart here, right? And so that's what I think happens is cities like St. Clair, we get ourselves into these situations that make ourselves desperate for economic development because we are desperate for money, because now we're in a deficit and we're saying, oh my gosh, how are we going to catch up? How are we going to catch up? Right. And that's where it's what the federal government is doing. Right.
See, that always makes me feel, and I could be looking at it wrong. I've never been a public official, but it always makes me look like the citizens are customers.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I don't want to be a customer to the government. I want the government to work for me as best it can, but I want it to be out of my way. What does the city have to pay for outside of just making sure the lights are on and the water's running?
Yeah.
And the street, and you can drive on the streets. What else is there? Is it the
What's
schools?
left after all the tax abatements? Exactly. That's another thing, is that we need revenue, and then we want to attract a company. We say, okay, you don't have to pay taxes for 10 years.
And I guess they say they make it on the sales taxes, right? That's what the argument would be.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just want to do some calculations, because this as a business person, you ran revenue reports. You don't just calculate the amount of money that you're going to make. You also have to calculate, is that money outweighing the costs? Right.
Yep.
I don't know if the revenue would outweigh the impacts and costs that it would have. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I haven't seen any compelling data that says that would, and I've never seen someone frame it in that way where they can tell me that there's going to be net positive revenue over the costs of the impacts that would have on the citizens, environment, anything, right?
Right. It's a very interesting conversation because
the chat's going crazy now, so this must be a hot topic.
I was always say if you're in it, it has to be different than the way because I am. I mean, I admit it. I want to be the world to be the way I want it to be. I think I'm like everybody else. I just fight for what I believe in. When I look at government, it is I want government to be so small I don't recognize it.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like government is in every aspect of my life all the time. It just seems like it's never ending. It's like you cannot get away. I wouldn't want to be in politics if it weren't so crucial at this moment in time. Normally, I'd like to be playing sports, hanging out with my wife, going to the park, being outside, doing whatever I'm doing. I'm in politics because I think there's a need for it, right? It became a situation where after COVID, at least for me, COVID was the big change for me. After COVID, I started to recognize I don't have a government. I'm giving all this money and I'm having all these fights and aggravation with everybody in my life, and I don't really have a government. This is just not real. They're not doing the things that the people want them to do. Therefore, they're not acting on the behalf or not acting on. They're not acting for the people that pay all the taxes anymore. They just don't. I mean, COVID was a perfect example as far as I'm concerned. That's the one that will never get out of my mind. Let's play a little bit more. I don't want to get too long-winded here. This is Elliot Davis with Dave Schatz. Again, we're picking it up.
And the needs that the Merrimack Valley School District they have issues, they have deferred maintenance, they have a lot of things that could probably address a lot of the problems that they have in their.
Just want to point out, this is probably from desperation, right?
Yeah.
Things that they didn't do in the past that set them up to where they're at right now.
Yep.
School district, if one of these data centers was built and the tax revenues we generated went to their school district, it could solve a lot of their problems. So it's like, how can I not look at that? Because that's just one of the many problems that exist in this county.
What are you estimating could be the revenue generated by a data center?
They again, these are numbers, and again, we don't have the specifics, but it could be, if 2 data centers came in here, it could be somewhere between, $60 to $80 million on an annual basis.
But you've got citizens that say, no matter what, they're against it. Don't they? Do they speak in your field from what you've heard?
I understand
Aren't you getting this from the majority of residents in Franklin County?
Not from the majority. No, not from the majority of the residents. Obviously the people that are surrounding the surrounding properties of these data centers, and there's some, again, they're not all from just the surrounding area, but obviously anyone living in close proximity are saying we don't want it there. I understand that. I can appreciate that. But again, I talk to other people. I'm on the phone constantly talking to different people throughout the county. Same thing, that this consideration I'm telling you. We can't overlook what the financial impact could be to the taxing entities and districts throughout this county. And that's just what we have to really take a serious look at. So,
could you guys approve both of, and I asked you this before, you could approve both data center projects, even the one that was turned down
yes,
by the planning?
We could.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, because it is. It's fully within the realm of possibility, because it's something that the commission could do.
One of the things residents were asking for, why not put it to a vote? Why not let residents vote on this?
It is not an issue that statutorily is allowed to be put to the voters for a vote. That's just, again, now whether or not people want to agree with our interpretation, but our legal representation tells us that's planning and zoning issues do not go before for a public vote. That's just and it's not something that we're going to submit to voters.
But this is an economic.
I get this a lot, right? It's the rule. We can't let people talk about it because it's the rule. I mean, I'm like, well, who makes the freaking rules? If people pay attention, now you wouldn't notice it normally, but if you pay attention to how this thing works, a lot of it are rules that are made by the rule makers to protect themselves and give them more authority. Think of a rule that says we're the ones that have to decide. We can't let the people decide. We can't do that. We have to decide. Did you read the law? That's what the rule says. The rule says I have to make the decision. Dave Schatz, get to make the decision. The people, the 100,000 people in my community, they don't get to make the decision because of the rule. Right? And it's just, well, then change the rule. We don't like that rule. Change that rule. You work for the people. We don't like that rule. Change the rule. But it is, I'm telling you, if you pay attention to it, you're going to hear that over and over again. That's the way the rule's written. That's the way the statute. I'm like, well, the people don't like that, though. Aren't you the rule maker?
This is my problem with economic development as a whole, is that what I feel like economic development has become is how do we build new things instead of, and Washington did a good job of this, actually. They took old Main Street and revitalized it, right? But that's a problem that I have here in St. Clair specifically, is that we're trying to develop a property, the old airport that we closed down years ago, simultaneously while our Main Street is basically dying. You know what I mean? And so I feel like economic development is only when it suits them, right? Is I would think that we would want to personally, right? And I'm pushing for this, and we're doing things here in St. Clair for this, but revitalizing, the Main Street. It's a historic old Main Street that was St. Clair, was that Main Street.
Down Main Street.
Exactly. There's a cafe that's been open since 1930, Rob, on Main Street here in St. Clair. And so that's what I think needs to be looked at a little bit differently from economic development is, let's take a step back and say, how can we work with the people that are already here and the things we already have, instead of trying to find new sources of revenue? Because if you look what's already there, you can probably generate more revenue just by investing more locally, instead of getting a Russian billionaire who lives in Israel to build a data center in Missouri.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Very nicely done, Isaiah. Very nice. All right, pick up, because I want to get to the part where he gets to China.
Yes. Oh, dang it.
To the taxing entities and districts throughout this county. And that's just what we have to really take a serious look at. So,
could you guys approve both of, and I asked you this before, you could approve both data center projects, even the one that was turned down
yes.
by the planning?
We could.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, because it is. It's fully within the realm of possibility, because it's something that the commission could do.
One of the things residents were asking for, why not put it to a vote? Why not let residents vote on this?
It is not an issue that statutorily is allowed to be put to the voters for a vote. That's just, again, now whether or not people want to agree with our interpretation, but our legal representation tells us that's planning and zoning issues do not go before for a public vote. That's just and it's not something that we're going to submit to voters.
But this is an economic issue, really, right? It's more than just a planning and zoning issue, as you just said. The revenue that it would bring in. So
but Elliot Davis
an
nailing
economic issue. Wouldn't that make it allowable for a vote?
Again, I'm going with our.
Again, we got our corrupt attorneys here, and our corrupt attorneys tell us
that's why attorneys do what they do. Because there's going to be more than one opinion on how that goes. But I believe the advice that we're getting, obviously, lets us tend to believe that this is not something that we can put before the voters. Because again, we'd be expending taxpayer dollars that's not authorized by statute to do that.
Is this likely going to take less than a month for you to make a decision?
No, it's going to probably be more longer than that.
Longer than a month?
Yeah, I would think. I mean,
to make a decision?
Sure. Like I said, there's still a lot of information to be obtained at this point. And again, we're not going to rush into something. We're going to methodically work through the process before we come to a conclusion on it.
Do you plan to do any traveling? And
I can appreciate that.
Data centers before you make a decision?
I don't know that I need to. I don't really know that I need to see anything more. I mean, obviously, there's some research that we could have.
Well, now he's changed my mind. You don't need to see anything, but you're going to take a month to make the decision.
About, certain things about data center, I don't believe.
They worry about water. They worry about electricity.
Again, those are valid concerns, but at the end of the day, there are parameters that we've created in there that we truly believe that those are not going to be non-issues. We have Senate Bill 4 here in the state of Missouri that protects consumers, and those costs cannot be passed on to those consumers. Electric rates cannot be raised because of large industrial consumers like this. The water usage, obviously, I don't think is an issue, because these closed loop systems, we know that there's a parameter of water that they're going to be allowed to use. It's not going to be an effect on the aquifer. A lot of people have that concern. It's not going to drain their wells. It's going to come off a public water system. So again, if all of those things were erased and they were non-factors, do you think the people that are opposed to them because of those issues are going to all of a sudden become favorable? I don't think so. They're opposed, but these are issues that obviously they're using as, their talking points. Is like, this is why we shouldn't do it, because it creates fear.
What are your thoughts that so many people are against this? Well, you looked at the planning and zoning meeting, there had 900 people out there.
Yeah, there's over 110,000 people in this county, Elliot. There's 110,000 people. So, I mean, we have to also consider the 110,000 people. I'm not discounting the fact that there has been a lot of opposition. There's a lot of vocal opposition to this, but there also is 110,000 people in this county.
And what are you saying? What
Well,
point
I'm
are you
saying,
making?
but my point is you say there's 900 people show up.
Who showed up?
The 900
It's
people
like
that
the way
showed
we
up.
take a poll. We don't have all the
Elliot is
citizens
good,
of the
isn't he?
United States
Boom.
show up for a poll.
No.
There's a representative sample. So
Right.
couldn't you say
He said,
those
"What do you
900
mean?"
people who showed up
Nobody's here
were
for
a
him. They're all
representative
against him.
sample of how people feel in this county?
I think if you were at, I don't know if you were at the last commission meeting that we had.
Yeah.
And they had people stand up that were obviously
I
where
was,
they were
yeah.
located. The majority of people in that room that stood up obviously were within close proximity of that data center. That's what I gleaned from that, potential of that crowd was these are all people that are obviously that live in close proximity of the neighborhoods that data center would be built, those two data centers that would be built.
How did this data center get to be such a huge point of contention?
Here we go.
Some of it, I think, Elliot, is realistically is being, there are forces that work behind this thing that I'm not sure exactly who and where all the opposition is coming from. I don't think it's all generic. I think there's some forces that work outside of that because I think what we've seen, what happened in St. Charles and the people that were work on this issue that oppose
Talking
this
about
issue.
us, Isaiah.
Again, I don't know that
Jake
there,
Jackson.
it's not all grassroots coming from that. I think there's probably
coming
some
from
opposition.
grassroots.
Yeah,
Whether
Jake
or not
Jackson,
people
the
wanna
Chinese
agree with it,
spy,
it could be
right?
From China,
Right, Chinese spy.
it could be
Jake.
from other areas. That people that-
China?
Absolutely.
No.
Look, can you rewind it just a bit?
Elliot,
Just a
don't-
hair.
Yeah, let's do
listen,
it.
You don't think that they
This
work
guy
outside of
is-
that? Because
come
I think
on.
even what we've seen, what happened in St. Charles
Good
and,
Lord.
and the people that were work on this issue that oppose this issue. Again, I don't know that it's not all grassroots coming from that. I think there's probably some opposition. Whether or not people would want to agree with it, it could be from China. It could be from other areas that people.
China?
Absolutely.
No.
Well,
I love it.
Listen, you don't think that they engage in some of this type
Listen
of
to this.
activity?
You don't
The
think
folks in
China's
China
coming
would
after
be
Franklin County, Missouri?
Because
You
there's so
think
many
that-
data center
Here's the thing,
projects
but
all over.
I'm throwing that out there. You know,
Yeah.
if people want to, if you don't believe that, I listen. I've
Could
talked
be
to some
Iran.
people, that have
Kinda
worked on
Jake.
the other side of this issue, because there are people that get hired and engaged to oppose issues and to generate, concern. If you don't think that people are politically motivated to do that because they get paid to do that, where do you think
Oh,
that
we
money's
think
coming
you
from?
guys are. That's like
Somewhere.
remember that's the inversion.
Maybe not China, but
Well,
but so it's going to take more than a month
I would anticipate, yes. Like I said, I don't.
for you guys to make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're conducting, the other business that we're doing through the county, but we're also taking our time to try to work through this process.
And you don't expect to travel to see any other data centers?
I do not think that is on my horizon at this time. I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but I don't have anything.
And
like that right
one of the things citizens have said is there have been some areas that have had data centers and have had problems.
And I would probably agree that could be the case. But again, some of the early, renditions of these things and the improvement that's been made and the technology advancements that have occurred. Obviously, when they were building these things 16 years ago, we were in some of those facilities that are 15 plus years old, very, very high tech still. But again, there's newer technology now and new advancements in improving all the time. And there'll be improvements that will probably happen with 3 to 5 years from now. We're always advancing and improving.
If you had to make a decision today, what would it be?
Well, I'm not making a decision today because, like I said, I don't have enough information to tell you that answer. Just to be quite frank with you, I'm not in a position to be able to say yes or no at this point because I don't have enough information to me that would be able to say yes or no.
Dave, thank you for talking to me.
Appreciate it, Elliot.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
sir. All right.
So good. You got to give Elliot Davis credit. You have to give him credit. He goes, China? No.
Come on. Yeah.
So you think China's worried about data centers in Franklin County, Missouri?
Yeah. I wanted to give Dave Schatz. I'm always trying to give people the benefit of the
Me
doubt.
too.
You know how I am, Rob. I'm always trying to give him, and I'm trying to look for the positive.
Yes.
And I said, you heard me say, he's like, oh, okay, I can appreciate that. And then he just completely negated himself after I was like, man, why'd you have to say that? If you're going to pretend that you want to take all the information and just stick to the story and don't tell people that you're not going to, that you
know. You know what's so funny about the whole situation is Franklin County. I absolutely love Franklin County, and I got all this craziness going on in Franklin County. I like Tim, right? We advertise with Moe's. We had
Thank
Kevin
you, Tammy.
Gosh. Remember Kevin Gosh from the radio station, Magic Man with Magic Hands, the dent repair guy. So we're friendly with him. We like the area. I love the area. I got a buddy of mine who played. His son played baseball for me. Who owns his name's Chris Ulrich, Dr. Chris Ulrich. He does LASIK eye surgery out in Washington, Missouri, Franklin County. We love it out in Franklin County. But what is going on in Franklin County? It seems a little bit odd. So you got the Dave Schatz story. You have the story with Jeff Winehouse, right? You got a lot of action going on in Washington, Missouri, out in Sullivan, Missouri, and that surrounding area. And I just wonder why? Because the people are amazing. You would think the politics would follow suit, but not always, I guess, how it works. Rack Custom Coatings?
Rack Custom Coatings.
RAK Custom Coatings?
.com.
Rack Custom Coatings.com. Go check out these floors. And then Isaiah, you have to remind me, he sent me a bunch of pictures of stuff that he does.
That's right.
I don't know if we can I don't know if we can make those work because you showed
I could probably build something out for it.
I want to send you so people can actually see what he does. But again, rackcustomcoatings.com. This is for industrial spaces, industrial spaces, businesses, and flooring for your garage, which I guess you could do it in other parts of your home too. I mean, if you have a finished, if you have a basement that is not finished and you just want to do it on the basement, I assume he could do that. I'd have to ask him.
Yep.
But I did it for the guy who did it listens to the show. I think he goes to work an hour, so he's already at work. But a guy that a buddy of mine listens to the show, he did this for me at my home when I was over in Lake St. Louis, and it just changed the complexion of the home. I absolutely loved it when it was done, and I think it's a great idea for people. If you have a home that you're selling, or if you just have a home that you like curb appeal, if you put this flooring, I think it's epoxy. Is that what it is, Isaiah?
Yep.
Epoxy?
Yep.
I think he does primarily epoxy work, but it's not real expensive. And man, does it change the complexion of your home. I just loved it. I recommend it to everybody. If you can afford the little updates to your home and want to add some value to your home, great way to do it. RackCustomCoatings.com, locally owned and operated since 2001, family owned. Rich McQuay is the guy, fan of what we're trying to get accomplished. I always like those people. Rich McQuay. He says, we install industrial strength, long-lasting coatings built to handle anything your home or business can throw at them. And from garages to commercial spaces, RAK Custom Coatings delivers tough, beautiful finishes that last. Where quality meets craftsmanship, reach out at 636-398-5040, 636-398-5040. Look how great that work looked. That's probably a floor of a dealership.
Yep.
Right there that you're just looking at, right?
Yep.
So I've been around for a long
restaurant
time.
right there. It's like a bar, restaurant kind of area.
Yep. Shows all the pictures of the work. So for
warehouse,
businesses, there's a lot
church
of
even. Maybe you got a church.
Yep.
That's a hangar for sure.
That's a hangar. I'm telling you what, it's not crazy expensive in comparison to other flooring options, and I just think it looks fabulous. It was great for my garage. I can only imagine the kind of business that you can do when you're working with all these different businesses. I can't even think of how many businesses would be applicable for this, but I got to think it's a lot.
Look what you got my wife saying.
See, there you go. There you go. There you go. Let me give you the number, Isaiah. Ready? Write this down with your pen.
Yes. All right.
Rack Custom Coating, 636-398-5040. And then last advertiser of the day, Carrington Financial, your caringadvisor.com. Boy, he got great feedback yesterday. Rick is getting good at this. I told Rick when he first started, he was doing a radio show I don't know if he's still doing it at the station that I was working at, Real Talk. And he was asking questions and inquiring about, how I did things. And he wanted to get this set up and that set up. And I said, Rick, when you're good at it, it'll take a little time. You'll get comfortable in front of the microphone and then just be you. Because when I was talking to him on the phone, I'm like, man, you're terrific. Just do this on the air. Yeah. And no matter how many times you say that, Isaiah, it's very difficult for people. I'm sure you're aware.
Oh, right? Yeah.
It's difficult.
The lights come on, the camera's rolling, the microphone's live.
And then you get nervous. Yeah. Then you just get a little discombobulated. But he felt very comfortable yesterday. I talked to him afterwards and I said, dude, just do your thing. You're really good at this. Carrington Financial, your caringadvisor.com. I think he's going to be a part of the show for quite some time. He's going to come in Tuesdays at 11 moving forward. And then ultimately we'll see where it develops.
We'll get his own show eventually once we get the network rolling.
I think when he gets comfortable, that's the way this is going to play out. YourCaringAdvisor.com, Rick Babbitt's, 314-671-0525. He is our and your financial planning expert. As he says all the time to me, Rob, I do it different than everybody. When people think of financial advisors, like, oh, I could go with Prudential, I could go with this person, I could go with that person. He said, I'm different than those people. I look at the financial world through a different lens. If you want to get a second, third, fourth, or fifth opinion, get it from Rick Babbitt's. There you go. Jeffrey Wilson just started with Rick, rocking with Rick.
Rocking with Rick. I love it.
Biblical principles with your money. And he's going to give you a different look at your finances than most people or all people, according to him. Your caring advisor, my man, Rick Babbitt's 314-671-0525. Your financial planning expert. Anything else?
Going out to his house soon.
Are you going out there too?
Yeah, gonna go out there soon. Gonna help him out with some technology stuff. He just called and asked if I could come help him set some stuff up. So
good.
To help him out. Don't know. We're supposed to go out on this Tuesday. I don't think it'll work that Tuesday, but probably next Tuesday we'll be going out there. He doesn't live too far from me, so.
Good. You'll like Rick. Rick's a.
Rick's a good guy. I mean, it was the same thing with us. We got on the phone, I think, and then my wife's like, "Hey, I wanted to take you to breakfast for your birthday. You've been on the phone for 3 hours. What are you doing?"
I told you, Rick can go.
And like, you woke up at 7 a.m. and you're on the phone. I'm like, sorry.
That's why I said he could do a show. I said, as soon as you feel comfortable, just like you're talking to me, just talk and just do your thing and just to talk about something that's you're interested in, which is history and finance.
Yeah. And if people don't think we take this seriously, this was on my birthday on a Saturday morning, right? First thing in the morning, me and Rick are on a phone call talking about,
my wife always goes, she's always like this every time I get on with Rick. She's like, I'm like, I know. Rick's going. Leave him alone. He's right in the middle of this thing.
I'm learning, okay? I'm learning a lot right now.
All right, now I got to prep tomorrow.
Let's do it.
So tomorrow, what's this guy? His name's Matt. Let me look here. He sent me a text this morning.
You got to record a video for me. Do this for me. You got to record a video as soon as we get off promoting this.
I will. Matt Cubbler. So Matt, you hate when I don't do videos. There's no doubt.
I know.
So Matt Cubbler.
I haven't been bothering you as much, I feel.
I know, but I have been slacking. I got to get my act together. So Matt Cubbler, somebody from in his circles reached out to me. Now this guy, he's in law enforcement, and he says that somebody that grew up in his town and somebody that knows that was also a SEAL, a SEAL, I think it was SEAL Team 4, was murdered. It was ruled a suicide. He got involved because the family knew him and knew that he had a background in law enforcement. He was telling me this story yesterday. He said, listen, if it's a suicide, I'm going to tell you it's a suicide. If you're looking for me to, endorse your point of view, I'm not going to do that. So whatever information, wherever the evidence takes me, that's where I'm going to go. He said he's been studying it for 7 years. He's been talking to Pete Hegseth. He was talking to Donald Trump Jr. The story breaks tomorrow morning in the Washington Post. He's going to come on our show, which I think is fantastic. And, he just told me the story. I think it's a fascinating story. Again, he has all of the evidence. This is a guy that was 6 months away from getting his pension and all of his military benefits. And he is found dead over in Afghanistan, laying in his bed while he was sleeping. And I just think it's a fascinating story. If you want to take a look at it, you should be able to find it. It was on the Redacted show. He was on the Redacted show. I think it's going to be a great interview. I think people are really going to enjoy it. If you're into like murder mysteries, if you're into injustice that you want to solve, which is kind of where I like to spend my time, I'm really into that. I think Isaiah feels the same way. You're going to love the show tomorrow. So Matt Cubbler talking about a story that's breaking in the Washington Post tomorrow morning. So the Washington Post tomorrow morning will break the story. He's going to be on our show to explain everything that he saw, everything that he knows. And I think people will be fascinated by it. So that's all I got for you today, Isaiah. And then we got Act from Missouri on tomorrow as well. I think, Isaiah, I got to talk to if Amy's listening. I think I want to push them back to 11 because he could only come on at 10. So I think if we get him 10 to 11 and then have Act from Missouri come in and talk local politics, that would be fantastic.
Very exciting.
Anything else on the day?
No. Have you heard any more developments about the special session, potentially about the gas tax? I haven't.
I heard it's not happening.
Okay. I hadn't heard the next developments yet.
Trisha Burns, she was trying to get that put forth, but as I understand it, it's not happening.
Okay.
Somebody said, who I heard said I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's lined up with the establishment, and I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way. Is Mike Koslow. I heard Mike Koslow talking. He was on with Drew Shelton the other day on my old radio station. He was talking to them, and and Drew did a nice job, by the way. And he asked him that question, and he said, it's very expensive to do these things, and I don't think it's in the cards. And I think he is on the inside of that situation. So that tells me it's probably not going to happen.
That makes sense. Completely off topic, but I had no idea that Drew had lost so much weight. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So crazy.
He used to advertise for whoever did the weight loss for him. He used to advertise on the show with him all the time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Like he posted a picture the other day on Facebook. I was like, oh my gosh, great job, man. This is awesome. This is
he's a good dude. Drew's a good guy. So
oh yeah, I love Drew. We love Drew and Dan, right?
I love Dan and
You
Drew.
listen every morning when we're getting onto the stream, and me and Rob are just talking before the show. He's got his phone right here, and all I hear in Drew and Dan in the morning.
You know, you kind of get close to people when you work with them.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
That's what I said to Dan. I said, Dan, I like getting up and seeing you every morning. It's part of now it's with you, Isaiah.
Yeah.
But it becomes routine, and then when that routine is broken, you're like, oh, I'd like to hear them. You know what they got going on. So yeah, I do listen to them often. Anyway, that's all we got for you. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the Rob Carter Show. I'll put a post out here soon. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.